to pass. Tatum back to pass. He throws long for Sowers, and the Jets are champions of the football world.
Snap, set down. The kick is blocked. Rolling loose on the field. It is picked up by Gallo. He tries to throw a pass. Deflected in the air. Grabbed by Bell. He's going to score.
The Steelers set the ball, and Bradshaw's back to throw. He looks and throws it in the end zone. Swan, touchdown! Touchdown, Pittsburgh!
Here comes Plunkett back to throw. Now he is on the run, and he throws to the left sideline, and it's caught. He's in midfield. He's got it. He's gone. To the 30, 20. He's gone. Touchdown, Kenny King.
Silver Dome has been painted and polished, and the San Francisco 49ers and Cincinnati Bengals are just about ready to give it a go. There might be a few people still outside, but most of the 80,000 plus have made it to their seats, and you can just get some kind of feeling as you look as far as enthusiasm is concerned of these great fans of both of these outstanding football teams, the 49ers and the Bengals. And we're just about set. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. And John, of course, was the winning coach in Super Bowl 11 when he took the Oakland Raiders to their championship. And, John, how would you capture the mood of the teams right now?
Well, right now, Pat, the hoopla is over. You know, they've waited maybe all their lives to be in this Super Bowl. They've waited 2 weeks since their last championship game. They're in those locker rooms now, and the locker rooms tend to start to get tighter. We see Anderson in there, sitting there in the locker room. It's the last time that you're going to have by yourself. It's your last few moments, the last time to think. And what you want to do now is you just want to get out of there and bust out of that locker room and get on this field and get it started with.
And it seems to all close in on you, John, when you're in that locker room and when you go out in that tunnel.
That locker room gets smaller and smaller the closer it gets to time. There's the officials. They're going to call. They've just knocked on the locker room door, and the team will start out now.
And once they get through that tunnel and take a look at this magnificent stadium, it's like opening the door and looking at the world. And here come the 49ers.
You know, walking down that tunnel is a very, very lonely feeling. But when you get out there and you get out into the open, then you feel the excitement of the 80,000 fans that are in this stadium.
There is no feeling quite like it. You look at Dwight Clark, who figures to be such an important cog this afternoon. And you can see the daylight at the end of the tunnel, and that's what they've all been shooting for since the very beginning. Serious football thoughts, John. Everyone has said that they felt that this would be a high-scoring game. How do you feel?
I think it'll be a high-scoring game. You know, neither defense, I don't feel, will stop the other offense, and that's not out of disrespect for the defenses, but out of great respect for both these offensive teams.
The two quarterbacks, Anderson, Montana, both are mobile, but there is a difference.
There is a difference. You know, Anderson will run for yardage. He'll run for first downs. He'll run up the field. He's the second leading ground gainer on the Bengal team. Now, Montana will run. He just moves a little to buy time. You know, if someone's not open, he'll move to the right, find another receiver. I think he's the best in football at that.
Now, finally, John, you having been a coach, we've spent a lot of time with Bill Walsh of the 49ers and Forrest Gregg of Cincinnati. Did you get any indication from either as to who you think might win?
No, I didn't. But the one indicate, you know, there was a lot of talk about Forrest Gregg, that, you know, that he was tight, that he was this and that. But I'll tell you, he was very loose. He was very relaxed. He knows what he has to do, and he's gotten that across to his team. Okay.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the starting offensive lineup of the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. First of all, at tight end, number 86, Charlie Young. At left tackle, number 61, Dan Audick. At left guard, number 68, John Ayers. The center, 56, Fred Quillen. At right guard, number 51, Randy Cross. At right tackle, number 71, Keith Funhorst. Wide receiver, number 87, Dwight Clark. Wide receiver, number 88, Freddie Solomon.
They can't beat us, Freddie.
At running back, number 32, Ricky Patton. The fullback, number 49, Earl Cooper. And the quarterback, number 16, Joe Montana. Head coach Bill Walsh and the rest of the NFC champions, the San Francisco 49ers.
He answered that. Freddie Solomon ran on the field, and he said, they can't beat us.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for Cincinnati. At tight end, number 89, Dan Ross. Tackle number 78, Anthony Munoz. The left guard, number 62, Dave Lapham. The center, number 58, Blair Bush. At right guard, number 65, Max Montoya. The right tackle, number 77, Mike Wilson. At wide receiver, number 80, Chris Collinsworth. Wide receiver, number 85, Isaac Curtis. At running back, number 40, Charles Alexander. The fullback, number 46, Pete Johnson. And the quarterback, number 14, Ken Anderson. head coach Forrest Gregg and the rest of the AFC champions, the Cincinnati Bengals. Believe me, the view from inside is better than that from the outside, as it's frozen outside, but very pleasant inside the Silverdome in Pontiac. Pre-game activities continue at Super Bowl XVI. Forrest Gregg with Bobby Lane. Let's go now to the PA announcer, Dan Hunter.
Poland. Oh, is that right? Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for a moment of silence in honor of the proud and courageous people of Poland. Thank you. And now, to honor America, please join Detroit's own superstar, Miss Diana Ross, in the singing of our national anthem.
Can we sing our national anthem with authority? Sing with me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
Be back with the toss of the coin right after this message. Cincinnati and San Francisco, Super Bowl XVI. The captains for both teams are ready, and the coin will be tossed by Bobby Lane. Back in the early 50s, the Detroit Lions were the champions of the world. He was their leader. For him, every day had 26 hours and every week had 8 days. And I hope it continues that way. He not only could play football, he could do everything well. The captains for San Francisco, Ray Wershing, Keith Bonhorst, and Archie Reese. For Cincinnati, Archie Griffin, Tom Dinkle, and Jim LeClaire. LeClaire nearest you right there. Pat Haggerty is the referee. And he's there with Bobby Lane. Let's listen.
Let's see. Bobby Lane, I'd like you to meet Ray Wershing, Keith Bonhurst, Archie Reeves. Over here we got Archie Griffin, Tom Dinkle.
I'm Jim LeClaire.
Bobby Lane, Jim Howard. May I see the coin first? All right, gentlemen, would you introduce yourselves to your captains?
Minnesota, hey, great job.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the coin. This is heads, this is tails, this is a special coin for the Super Bowl XVI. Now Bobby will throw the ball, toss the coin. San Francisco is the visitors, he'll call it in the air. All right?
It doesn't really make any difference because we are indoors about the wind, but that's the story on who got the ball first. The teams that scored first won 13 out of 15 games.
That's right. Did you hear that? The 49ers won the toss, and then they asked Cincinnati what they wanted to do, and they said they wanted the ball too, so they both want the ball in the Super Bowl.
That was Forrest Gregg, and there, of course, is Bill Walsh. Bill with his ready list in his hands. He writes out about 25 plays before he ever starts a game, and he sticks to it better perhaps than any other coach. Jim Breach will kick off for Cincinnati. That's the return unit for San Francisco. It'll be Amos Lawrence, number 20, and Bill Ring back there with him. And Breach doesn't have the range perhaps of some of the other kickers, but he does have great control of the football, a size 5 shoe.
Maybe that's why he doesn't have a lot of range, Pat. With a size 5 shoe, you aren't going to kick it downtown, are you?
But Breach, nevertheless, has done a good job. Not only a size 5, but a different shoe on each foot.
And these kickers love this indoor stadium.
They all raved about this place. And Breach, perhaps feeling a little pressure, hooks it out of bounds, and he'll move back 5 to the 30. Super Bowl 16. What a build-up. We've been here since Monday, and I felt like running down and playing.
I have goosebumps all over.
I'm glad we didn't. Temperature outside, 13 degrees with the wind chill factor minus 21. You can see the forecast. But inside is what counts right now for these 80,000 plus those on the field. Kenny Anderson loosening on the near side. The Bengals, the home team, thus they got to choose what jersey they'd wear. They chose the black with the tiger stripes. Breach will kick it off again from the 30 this time. There's the book this year on Kenny Anderson.
Well, that was a little different type of kickoff that time. The first one, they had a shift where they shifted over to the left. Then Breach tried to kick it to that side, kicked it too far.
So now from the 30, Breach again. In that same direction. Amos Lawrence from the 9. Lawrence throwing down, fumbled, and the Bengals have it back. John Simmons made the recovery. Don Bass made the hit that knocked it loose.
What a way to start a Super Bowl. That's what Cincinnati wants to do. Come out, make something happen. Take the ball away. Look, right there we saw Frazier knock the ball right out of Armstrong's hand.
And Simmons made the recovery. So it'll be 1st and 10, Bengals at the 49er 26.5-yard line. A lot of people thought, so-called experts, that turnovers would decide. There's the first one. Alexander and Johnson behind Kenny Anderson, and Alexander flanks very wide to the left, almost out of bounds. Anderson will throw on first. He's got Isaac Curtis. He breaks one tackle. He's inside the 20 to the 18.
We were talking to Forrest Gregg this week, and I said, are you going to start running to settle down? He said, this is a Super Bowl. We're going to come out passing. There's no reason to settle down. Look at Isaac Curtis, just a little delay there, right in front of Ronnie Lott. Lott comes up, misses a tackle.
Did you notice, John, that the 49ers opened with a 4-man line defense? Now they've gone back to the 3. 2nd and 2. Pete Johnson gets the handoff. And the 255-pound fullback, or whatever he weighs, gets perhaps a first down. Craig Cookie on the stop. Let's look at the offensive unit of the Cincinnati Bengals. Anderson, the quarterback. Pete Johnson, who just carried the fullback. Charles Alexander, the running back, the other back. Collinsworth, who's had such a great year, and Isaac Curtis, the wide receiver. Tight end, speaking of great years, Dan Ross had a dandy. Munoz, Lapham, Bush, Montoya, and Wilson up front. First down, Cincinnati.
About as close as you can get to get a first down, isn't it?
Close enough. Cincinnati fans are here in mass.
They've been here. We were here at 1 o'clock, and this place was half full at 1 o'clock, 3 hours before game time.
Last night when we came out of the hotel in downtown Detroit, it was just a sea of orange. mania. Kenny Anderson, 1st and 10. 2 tight end lineup. 1 lone setback. Anderson moves, scrambles, throws. Collinsworth. Dan Ross, the tight end. I'm sorry. That's the kind of pass he catches. Dwayne Board made the stop. Anderson with that mobility got away from the rush and found his tight end Ross.
You're right, and that's what helped him. He bought a little time here. As we'll see here, he gets rushed. There's someone right at his feet. You see here, he scrambles out to the right a little, takes a second, then a third one, and finds his big tight end, number 89, Dan Ross, in there. What a target he's been for Kenny Anderson.
71 catches on the year from Northeastern, and he's been a tremendous find for Cincinnati. Find might be a little old word because he's been good for a while. It's Johnson closest to Anderson and Alexander deep. 1st and goal. Alexander to the 4, breaks 1 tackle. Knocked back to about the 5 by Willie Harper first. Let's look at that San Francisco defense. The front 3, when they're in the 3-man line, Stuckey, Reese, and Board. They make a lot of changes. The 4 linebackers, Harper, Reynolds, Pookie, and Keena Turner. In the secondary, that great young one, Lott, Wright, Williamson, and Dwight Hicks. No gain for Alexander, so make it 2nd and goal from the 5. No score. 2 tight ends again. Ross and M.L. Harris, number 83. Ross is on the left, Harris is on the right. Anderson dropped. Is hit by Stuckey and dropped for a loss all the way back to the 11. A -6 on the sack.
I'll tell you what caused this was the pass rush. We'll see this. He's looking out to the left. He was trying to find his left tight end, M.L. Harris. He couldn't find anything to the left, and just when he turned to the right, there was big Jim Stuckey. We'll see 79 here making the rush. Starts outside of Wilson, comes back inside, and just as Anderson turned, he was right in his face.
A very good maneuver by Stuckey. And now they see Fred Dean lined up on the right side of the defensive line. He'll operate against Munoz. 3 receivers on the left for Cincinnati, and Anderson drops. Picked off. Intercepted by the 49ers, Dwight Hicks. Hicks to the 30 and out of bounds at the 32, and the Bengals come away empty.
I'm sure the 49ers know about the team that scores first in the Super Bowl. They started on the left-hand side. They had 3 receivers. That's called a triple formation. We can see all 3. Now, he was looking for the outside man, 85, Isaac Curtis, who comes in underneath. Hicks saw him all the way and stepped right in front of him for the interception.
Perhaps Anderson would like to have that one back, because Hicks was never fooled. He was there right from the very beginning. That might be the most important statistic in football.
Look at that. The top 5 teams that had the fewest turnovers were all in the playoff. But today we start this Super Bowl, and already we have 2 turnovers. 1 apiece.
And the 49ers will take over 1st and 10 on their own 32-yard line. Montana will go ahead and throw. It's a screen to Patton. Ricky Patton gets about 8 before he is waffled by Eddie Edwards and Jim LeClaire. The offensive backs and receivers for San Francisco. Montana, Patton and Cooper the runners, Solomon and Clark the wide receivers. Tight end is Charlie Young, that's spelled correctly. Audick, Ayers, Quillen, Cross, and Fonhorst. The offensive line, not that big, but a very cohesive unit. Solomon, there was some doubt about him, but he looks healthy. Clark is lined up tight to the left. Look out for him. Clark has it. First down, San Francisco at the 44-yard line. Glenn Cameron made the stop.
Now, watching the 49ers over the year, early in the game, they like to get a first pass to Dwight Clark. This is Bill Walsh's idea because he's a big target in there, and they can always find him. Well, watch him. He's tight there. See the second man in, 87. Charlie Young goes in motion away. Now watch Dwight Clark as a tight end. So he's big enough to do that. Comes right across underneath the linebackers, catches a ball, turns it up the field.
down. 49ers, this is Earl Cooper. He has to cut back quickly, and he does well to get back to the line of scrimmage. Ross Browner made the stop. Let's take a look at that very solid Cincinnati defense. Edwards, Wilson Whitley, and Ross Browner, the front three. The linebackers, Harris, Williams on the outside, LeClaire and Cameron, the two on the inside. A very tough group. The secondary, Breeden and Riley, the corners, Kemp and Hicks, the strong safety and free safety. Bill Ring is now in the backfield with Earl Cooper on 2nd and 10. From the Bengal 44, Montana drops. Complete. Freddie Solomon, about 8 yards. Bobby Kemp made the tackle.
Another thing I like about this 49er team is they start out passing to establish a run. Now watch Freddie Solomon here. He's the outside man. He doesn't look like he's limping at all. He runs out. Now that's a hook in a zone between the corner and the linebacker. Under control, shoulder square back to the quarterback.
Some doubt about whether or not Solomon would be able to make it, but he said after he injured his knee, hey, this is a Super Bowl. Patton gives on a reverse to Solomon. He gives back to Montana. The pass is complete to Charlie Young, the tight end, and it's just a great catch by that veteran.
What a play that was. You know, Freddie Solomon in college at the University of Tampa was a quarterback. So, in fact, he's the third quarterback on this team. Now, watch the play. It's a reverse. Hand it back to Patton. Hands to Solomon, who throws it back to Montana and up to Charlie Young.
Montana is now 4 for 4. But it took a great catch by Charlie Young just then to keep that stat in order. Now, it's Eason Ramson who went in motion. Montana again. He throws high, almost picked off. That looks like Ray Griffin who might have been in. Or is it Lewis Breeden? I only saw the 4. It's Breeden.
It was Lewis Breeden. He had a man in front of Breeden and a man behind Breeden. You see right there, there's a man in front of Solomon, and then he has Eason Ramson behind him, and he threw it over Solomon and in front of Ransom.
So it'll be 2nd and 10, the ball at the Cincinnati 33. They are just about in range for Ray Wersching right now. Cooper is the lone setback. Montana gives to him. And Cooper barrels down close to a first down for San Francisco. Down inside the 25 to about the 23. Bobby Kemp made the tackle.
Those people aren't booing out there. They're saying, Coop, Coop. You know, everyone gets so concerned about the 49ers passing game that a lot of times the defense plays rather loose, and that allows that type of game.
Cooper trots off. There is Earl, who had such a great rookie year. There he goes. Bill Walsh said earlier in the week, I wouldn't be surprised if Earl Cooper didn't have a great day.
He thinks he plays much better on artificial turf than he does on regular turf.
Johnny Davis has replaced him. They give to Bill Ring. Ring over the right side, stays on his feet and gets some good yardage. Lewis Breeden again made the tackle, but Ring gets down to the 15, almost.
Forrest Gregg doesn't like that because the last 2 plays, those are just power plays, and you don't like to have power. Now watch this replay. Watch Johnny Davis, number 38, the fullback. He comes in there, leads, reams out a hole for Bill Ring, who follows right in behind him and picks up about 7 yards.
That Johnny Davis got a good block on LeClaire that time to set that play up. The 9th play of this drive coming up.
Johnny Davis looks like a guard coming through there.
He's about 235. Ring and Cooper now the setbacks. Here's Cooper. Earl with a forearm shiver, but just before he went out of bounds against Ken Riley.
One of the things you try and do early in the game is run some sweeping plays, some wide plays to stretch out that defense so they don't tighten up on you. And that's what the 49ers did on that last play.
Bill Walsh. Coach of the year. The NFC. Walsh on 3rd down. 3. Tough situation against these Niners. They don't mind throwing it. Wide open is Solomon. He's out of bounds at the 1. Louis Breeden took him down.
This is something the last 3 days they've been worried about Freddie Solomon. Watch, he starts outside, comes in motion inside Charlie Young, who runs to a post. He comes back inside, back to the outside. Louis Breeden didn't get over there until after he had caught the ball. Here's Reggie Williams, the outside linebacker of the Bengals. He's their #1 pass rusher and #1 sacker, but that time Bill Ring put him up in the air.
He did a number. First and goal at the 1, Johnny Davis and Ricky Patton. Johnny Davis behind Montana, and it's a touchdown. Davis went over the top. Montana kept the quarterback sneak, and he got in.
I think that Bengal defense was in there. They're all tight. They're waiting for Johnny Davis. Now watch Montana. Just a little delay, steps to the right, and then dives over for the touchdown.
Ray Wershing now with Montana holding. Will try the extra point, and yes, it's good. 5:52 left to play in the first quarter of Super Bowl XVI, and the San Francisco 49ers lead 7-0. The San Francisco 49ers leading Cincinnati 7-0. That scoring drive was very impressive. They went 68 yards, 11 plays. Montana scored on a quarterback sneak. Given a little boost from Johnny Davis. Wershing kickoff. Bounding around, fielded by Verser. He started about the 6. He makes it back to about the 19. Rick Jervis tripped him up. And the Bengals have their second possession. They were close, but an interception by Dwight Hicks turned them back. 49ers 13-1 over the year when they scored first, and they have scored first in Super Bowl XVI.
Maybe that's why Joe Montana's smiling, huh?
First down, Cincinnati Bengals at the 19. Kenny Anderson, the quarterback, with Pete Johnson and Alexander behind him, and now Alexander comes out wide to the right. Anderson out to Johnson. Big Pete comes back inside, gets out to the 22.5. Bobby Leopold on the stop.
Here was a big play in the drive. It was 3rd and 3. Freddie Solomon starts out here, comes in motion. Charlie Young here runs a post pattern, and then Solomon from this point starts out, runs a corner pattern there, and that's the one that got him down to the goal line. Bad circle. But as you see, he starts in motion. Breeden comes in with him. Now watch as Charlie Young goes down there. He kind of picks off Breeden, forces him deep so that Solomon can get underneath.
Anderson back to throw again. They need 7 for a first. Outside Johnson. He's a big load out there when he starts that move upfield. Ronnie Lott got him around the ankles where you had to take him and took him down short of a first down.
Now that's Henry Bullitt down there, the defensive coordinator of the Bengals, and he's talking about the plays and the formation that the 49ers used on that last drive. See, they can straighten things right out there. So he's talking about the linebacker. He's talking about the outside linebacker coming.
A double tight end set up now. M.L. Harris and Ross both in the game, along with Verser set up on the flank. They need a couple. So dangerous and so good at this, has his first. Shoved out of bounds by Ronnie Lott. Anderson stops for a little chat.
Maybe pick up a play.
I would imagine they'll signal it in anyway. First down, Cincinnati. He was the second leading rusher on the Cincinnati team behind Johnson.
Right, Pete Johnson was their leading rusher, and their starting halfback, Charles Alexander, was 3rd behind Anderson.
The players say that Forrest Gregg has radar eyes. I don't know if that's good or bad.
think it's good.
Depends on whether you're a player or not.
If you've been bad, it's not good.
Anderson gives straight ahead Johnson. A couple. Stuckey led the San Francisco defense. Archie Reese also on the bottom of that pile. Cincinnati Bengals offense, 1980, 1981. They ranked 18th in 80 when Anderson was hurt quite a bit.
You know, a big part of that is Chris Collinsworth. They drafted him as a second-round draft choice, but what an addition he's made to this football team.
67 catches for Collinsworth. There he is. Over 1,000 yards. Here comes Alexander in motion on second down. 7. Anderson will put it up again. Fred Dean chases him from behind. Anderson can run. Slides. He might be a couple of yards shy of the first down. Eric Wright put the threat on him that made him go down.
You know, that was the thing we were talking about before the game. The way that Anderson runs, you watch those linemen, if they don't stay in their lane, now we'll see it here. You see Anderson drops back. He's trying to pass the ball. But now he looks, there's no one open. He sees a little lane right there. And now when he gets past that, he knows that he has enough to get up close to that first down. I'll tell you, he breaks teams' backs doing that.
It is third down, a yard at the 39. The Cincinnati 39. 49ers leading 7-0. Johnson will get the call, and Johnson, I believe, has enough for a first down. The Cincinnati fans think so, at least. Jack Reynolds is the man who made the stop.
Pat Haggerty thought so, the referee. He was giving it the old sign, first down.
More than 80,000 in attendance at the Silver Dome. There's been a lot of questions, pro and con, about whether Detroit, Pontiac, and this stadium was the place to have a Super Bowl, but it's been a super week for us.
It really has. What cooperation we've had from everyone, the people in the town, the teams, the league, everything. This has really been a super week.
From the 41, first and 10. Anderson will throw again. Going deep for Collinsworth. Just knocked away at the last minute. What a play by Eric Wright. Collinsworth had a step.
He did. That was a great reaction at the end there by Wright. We see Ken Anderson. He thought that he had this one. Watch his throw. It really is a perfect throw. You want to throw it over his outside shoulder and in front of him right there. And really, I don't think Eric Wright touched that ball. Did you see Collinsworth running when he was trying to look behind him with going straight ahead?
His back was almost bent in the wrong direction, double. Collinsworth again, this time goes out to the left. There's the man who made that last play. He may not have touched it, but I think he blocked his view at least. Johnson, the lone setback. Stays in and now comes out. Pass, Collinsworth, out of bounds, incomplete. Eric Wright again out there with him. 1:46 left to play in the first quarter.
We were talking earlier about the running game and how you try and stretch the defense with your running game. You try and do the same thing with your passing game, and that's what they did with Collinsworth. Go deep early, throw one, let them know that you're going to do it, and make them play loose and off you.
Even if you don't complete it.
That's right. That's the best thing you can do early is sweep and throw deep.
It will be third down. They promised us they would throw, and indeed they have. Both teams. That's what got them there. No need to make a change. Kreider in the game now for Cincinnati. Anderson looking left and keeps looking left, and now is taken down by Keena Turner. He couldn't get anybody open. They had to tuck it away, and they'll have to punt.
The big difference in this play is that they brought their linebackers. They bring Keena Turner on a blitz. Now, Anderson sees there's no one open. Good coverage downfield. He pumps. Now when he starts to run by those linemen, they have another linebacker right there, number 58, Keena Turner.
Lawrence Pillars put the good pressure on Anderson and Pat McAnally. Look at his average in dome stadiums, over 50 yards, 6 feet 6 inches tall. This one won't help his average. Off the side of his foot. Takes a good bounce to Cincinnati and continues to roll. And it might help his average. It rolls all the way down to the 10-yard line. He didn't catch it. 53 yards. McAnally 53 yards with a shank punt. So good things do happen. It's 7-0 San Francisco. Pat Summerall with John Madden at the Silverdome in Pontiac, the site of Super Bowl XVI. It is San Francisco 7, Cincinnati nothing, with 1:01 left to play in the first quarter. Joe Montana moves his backs. Earl Cooper and Ricky Patton into the eye. First down throw to Dwight Clark. Very nearly picked off by Riley. That one was a little bit late from Montana.
It was a little late, and Ken Riley, number 13 in his 13th year, you know, he's an old, experienced cornerback there, and you don't mess too much with these people. You know, they see it, we watch here, a little late, as you say, but Riley has a good jump on the ball, and that came very close to being a touchdown.
We were almost in a 7-7 game.
Watch Reggie Williams here again. He's their leading sacker. We see that right after Montana threw the ball, or right at the time, Reggie Williams hit him.
Two tight ends now for San Francisco as Eason Ransom is one of them. This was Ricky Patton, taken down by Ross Browner. Way back at the 3-yard line, a loss of 7.
And that is a big play. He's on the right of the screen here. We're going to see the outside. He takes a little inside move, flattens out right down the line of scrimmage, and picks up Ricky Patton before he can get his shoulders turned up.
Got in behind John Ayers, who was pulling. He and Montana played together at Notre Dame.
If the 49ers don't get out of here on this play, that could be a big play because they don't have the 15 yards for their punter.
Line of scrimmage. Back at the 3. Penalty marker down. That would be the first one of the day as Earl Cooper comes out on the carry, stopped by Eddie Edwards.
And that was the one that comes from real deep in the backfield, usually against the tight end.
A Bengal player still on the ground, one of their linebackers. I see Williams still walking around.
I think that last penalty, Pat, was against the Bengals.
Defense declined the penalty. First down.
The injured player is Tom Dinkel, and the Cincinnati trainer and medical staff is still administering to him. 5 seconds left to play first quarter. Pat Haggerty is the referee. First Super Bowl he's worked. So it has to be quite an honor for him and all of his officiating staff. Dinkel's still down. Forrest Gregg over on the sideline.
We're talking to Henry Bulla, the defensive coordinator. Sometimes you have that problem in that sub-defense. Some go in and not enough come out.
San Francisco 7, Cincinnati nothing. The linebacker, Dinkel, is still down. Cincinnati had too many men on the field. 49ers accepted the penalty. Now Dinkel is sitting up.
We'll see what happened to him. There's Tom Dinkel there, number 52. He's the man coming across the field. See, he's picking up Cooper from behind. Here it is right there. You see when his head hit the side of Cooper, that looks like when he got his injury.
Looked as if the side of his head hit Cooper's hip. But he appears now to be okay.
That's always a good sight.
Tom Dinkel walking off, still a little wobbly. From Kansas, a 4-year veteran. It'll be third down for San Francisco and 11 now at their own 9. So at least they do get some breathing room. They were backed up after the loss when Ross Browner caused some chaos. 30-second clock ticking away with now 20 seconds left on it. So no problem there. That's Ricky Patton. Well shy of the first down, and that would be the last play of quarter number 1. as San Francisco's punting unit comes on. Mike St. Clair made the tackle. And we'll look at San Francisco's barefooted kicker, Jim Miller, when we come back. The barefooted punter, number 3 for the 49ers, Jim Miller. There he is. One shoe on and one shoe off. Lived on a farm in Mississippi when he was a boy, he said. Didn't have anybody to play with, so he kicked rocks and cans and footballs, all barefoot. Mike Fuller. Yes. Mike Fuller. Back deep for the Bengals. Back there by himself. Miller has never had a kick block. And this is a dandy. High. Back to the 44 to Fuller. And Fuller gets near midfield, and he's knocked down quickly by Rick Jervis. First man there. This game is going all over the world. One of the places it's going is to the Mexican television network. Would you like to hear how it sounds to them? Let's pick up a little of their audio.
Y detener al hombre antes de que pudiera avanzar una yarda. Están en la yarda 49 exactamente.
Bueno, aquí estamos con ustedes, llevándoles nuestro marco de transmisión. Ahí ven ustedes.
So take that. French Canadians also.
À la ligne de 49 où ce sera premier jeu avec Anderson.
Keyword there was Anderson. Collinsworth in motion. The give is to Johnson. He gets into San Francisco territory to about the 46. Craig Kuki on the bottom of the pile, the first 49er to make contact. And also to Japan. You'd expect this to be efficient, wouldn't you?
皆さんご覧ください。ここから放送しているんです。アメリカの放送でも東京ブロードキャスティングシステムと書いてあります。
Which one of those was the analyst?
I don't know. I wonder if they have a chalkboard.
That I would like to see. 2nd and 5 for Pete Johnson. Line of scrimmage to San Francisco 46. Collinsworth is unsure about the formation. He looked back inside to Anderson, and Collinsworth said, I want a timeout, and Anderson wisely took it.
Timeout. Cincinnati.
The Cincinnati player, Tom Jenkel, who was injured a minute ago over on the bench. The word we have is that he was hit in the head. We saw that, but he will be back just a little dizzy. Among those in attendance, the Vice President, George Bush. Behind him in the leather coat is Darrell Stingley, the injured New England Patriot wide receiver. I understand for Billy Sullivan, who owns the Patriots, of course, that you were just magnificent when he was hurt, John, and attending the hospital and just attended.
Darrell Stingley is a brave man and a real competitor.
Anderson to Collinsworth, and he has it inside the 30. Ronnie Lott was there. Great throw from Anderson. A standing catch from Collinsworth.
I think they were trying to get in that formation the time before, Pat, but they had both wide receivers on the same side. This time they straightened it out. We see Collinsworth go all the way across the backfield in motion, up the field, and then just a little short post in there, again, catching it over the linebackers and in front of the secondary.
We asked Collinsworth during the week if he still felt like a rookie, and he said, hey, man, I've played enough games now, so I'm taped together and just jangling around. I'm not a rookie anymore. Alexander goes in motion. Somebody jumps. I think it was Anthony Munoz on the left side. It could have been Lapham, one of the two.
Number 62.
Lapham it was.
Those are the types of things that happen early in the game. You know, they get up there in that line of scrimmage and they want to go. Now watch here. You see Lapham's down there. He's going after Dwayne Board to cut him. Nice block, just a little early.
He did cut him. This is a big, wide offensive line for Cincinnati. Penalties so far for Cincinnati have hurt. 3 for 15. It's 1st and 15. Line of scrimmage, the San Francisco 33 with the 49ers leading 7-0. Alexander again moves out wide to the left. Collinsworth split in that direction. Ross, incomplete. He almost came up with a diving one-handed catch. He thinks he did.
She thought he did. You know, they had that same pattern on the both sides, Pat. They had Ross doing it on the right side, Collinsworth doing it on the left side. It's a corner pattern. He just gets that left hand out there and brings it in, but you see the ball hit the ground. That wasn't a catch.
Look at it from the opposite angle.
Here it is. You know, Dan Ross has made a lot of these catches, though. Look how he puts that left hand out, grabs it back into his body, but before it gets to his body, it hits the turf.
It got on the green just a minute.
And the official was right there.
2nd and 15 from the 33. Anderson again will attempt to throw. Steps into the pocket. Intended for Isaac Curtis. Penalty marker down. Lynn Thomas was out there with Curtis. And the Bengals love it.
And you're going to see there was just a little bump there just before the ball got there. Now watch Lynn Thomas, number 28. He's the 5th defensive back in there at left corner. Now watch Curtis makes his break to the sideline. Now watch right there. See the right shoulder on the bump before the ball got there.
A 5th round draft choice. One of those outstanding people, young people in that San Francisco secondary. He had good coverage all the way.
He really did, and he was trying to close on the ball.
Contact. Number 28, defense, first down.
Talk about a good draft and how you solidify a defense. Ronnie Lott was number 1. John Hardy, who's still with the team. Eric Wright and Carlton Williamson, those first 3 in yellow, all starters. And Lynn Thomas, also a good find, who just made that last play.
Right, and he comes in all the passing situations.
First down, Cincinnati, at the 28-yard line of San Francisco. Alexander doesn't carry it much. 49ers are ready quickly. He might have gotten 2. Willie Harper led that defense.
You know, with those draft choices, you said they had the first 3 players. Look what they did with that. They were 27th in defense in 1980. And they drafted those 3 starting defensive backs. They went up to 2nd this year. Of course, they've also added Hacksaw Reynolds and Fred Dean.
415 points allowed in 80. 250 this year. Dean is on the field right now, number 74. 2 tight ends for Cincinnati. 1 setback. Anderson has Collinsworth at the 5. Eric Wright, the defender, a fumble. San Francisco football. Collinsworth had it and lost it.
And look at Forrest Gregg. You know, the last thing that the Bengals said last night is once we catch a ball, we have to hold on to it. Look at Kenny Anderson. What do you have to do? Number 21 is Eric Wright. He's defending rookie against rookie. Eric Wright against Chris Collinsworth. Nice move on the end. He catches the ball. Eric Wright brings his right hand around and knocks the ball out.
And Lynn Thomas makes the recovery, number 28. And so San Francisco dodges another bullet. And they'll have the football when we come back. Pat Summerall with John Madden, Super Bowl 16. The first time these two played, December the 6th. Cincinnati had 6 turnovers. The final score was 21-3 San Francisco. Today's story, Cincinnati has 2, San Francisco 1. Montana to Johnny Davis. 1 or 2.
Now there's a sight. There's Jack Reynolds talking to the defense and drawing up the plays that they run. And watch, when Jack Reynolds talks, they all listen, don't they? See, they're talking about the running plays that Cincinnati's trying to do. See that? They're drawing Pete Johnson there and how he starts to one side and cut back. Look at Jack. He does everything, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. Equipment, tape,
places,
chalk, boards, 2nd and 9 from the 9. This is Bill Ring. And Ring on an outstanding play by Ross Browner. On the other side, the commissioner of the NFL and his lovely wife, Carrie, watching and enjoying.
What a job he has done over the years of commissioner of this league. Amazing man. What a leader.
When you think back that he was elected on the 23rd ballot way back, and how outstanding and what he's accomplished.
What this game is, what it was when it started, where this whole league is today.
3rd and 7 from the 11. Montana puts Ring in motion. He rolls right and throws to Freddie Solomon, complete for a 49er first down. Knocked out of bounds by Bo Harris.
I'll tell you, the 49ers, they'll go anything. They'll throw it in any part of the field. They'll do anything. Now we're going to see, here's what Montana likes to do. Instead of dropping back, he wants to get out here, buy some time. He has a deep pattern here. That drives the defense out, then out here, and he rolls out here and throws it from this position. You see, he starts out there. Solomon came across. The second man there, see, he was inside. Clark went deep.
We pick it up live, and I mean live, as Montana being chased and goes out of bounds. Chased by Ross Browner. Again, knocked out of bounds, but Montana picked up a good gain. The young quarterback, Solomon, has caught 3 of those. John, we had a penalty a minute ago. Let's look at this first.
We'll look at it here now. Here's Reggie Williams and Browner chasing. You know, Montana not only runs, he has pretty good speed. He gains some ground on those guys.
We had a penalty against San Francisco, pass interference, we thought. They only gave him 5 yards and did not move the sticks up to the spot of the foul. I think John has some information about that, but here's Earl Cooper with some room. Cooper breaks a tackle, gets into Cincinnati territory. Knocked down by Glenn Cameron, but he has a 49er first down.
And they're yelling, "Coop, Coop, Coop" on that one. On that play when Cincinnati had the ball, when the ball was in the air, he was hit. Now watch Bo Harris, number 53, is the outside linebacker. Fawnhorse comes in, gets him to the inside so Cooper can get free around the right end.
First down. There's a story on Earl Cooper. 1st and 10 at the Cincinnati 48. And Cooper remained behind Montana. Now they shift. Patton. Ricky Patton gets inside the 45 to about the 44.
There's Bill Walsh, and see now he sends in a play. Usually they signal in from the sideline. In the last game, Pat, when they played Cincinnati, they felt that Cincinnati had their signals. So they changed their signals for this game, and Bill said he'll send in some and signal some.
There is their backup quarterback who usually does the signaling, Guy Benjamin. Montana intended for Solomon again. He threw it out of bounds.
Montana's pass intended for Solomon, incomplete. Covered by Lewis Green.
There's Bill Walsh. He has that list there in his right hand. Now, as we said earlier, he has down the 25 plays, the first 25 plays that he's going to use in this game. And he gives them to Guy Benjamin, number 7, who signals them into Joe Montana.
That doesn't necessarily mean that he will use them in that order. He just wants to get them done.
Right, and then, you know, these short yardage and goal line, of course, would take him out of those.
Charlie Young is split way at the top of your picture, the tight end. Clark was in motion. Montana, if he has time, will throw. This is what he does well, and Clark does that well, too. First down, San Francisco. Hit by Lewis Breeden first. Clark has that uncanny ability to get open, and Montana can buy enough time until he can do it.
And he did on this play. We'll see Montana go back here. Clark comes in motion. Now he starts in. It's supposed to be an in. You see, he was going to throw inside to Clark. When Clark sees him scramble, he scrambles out with him to the outside. That is teamwork. Here comes Clark in motion. Now watch, he's going to run an in pattern. You see him start in. Now right here, he sees him scramble, so he scrambles with him.
First and 10 at the 32. Ricky Patton barrels down to just outside the 20, perhaps the 21. Very near another San Francisco first down. Ken Riley tripped him up.
Now there's Bill. We know that this play is on his list because he looked at his list, gave it to Dwight Clark, changed his mind, though, didn't he?
Now you look back at Benjamin, who sent his signal in. It'll be 2nd and 1 at the 22. Mike Schumann in the game. The handoff is inside to Patton. He'll have a first down inside the 20 with some to spare. Jim LeClaire, the tackler for Cincinnati.
As we were watching that last sequence over there, I think Bill Walsh thought it was a first down. There's a defensive staff. The first person there is Henry Bulla, who is a defensive coordinator, and we see him sending in the defense for the Bengals.
And the other is a former teammate of mine, Dick Modulewski.
Was he Big Mo or Little Mo?
He's Little Mo.
And they had no Mo?
They had no Mo, and they had Dynamo. 1st and 10, San Francisco. Fake to Cooper, the handoff to Clark. He's going nowhere. Lewis Breeden there very quickly. And a penalty marker goes down. Perhaps a late hit.
That was a reverse. The other day, we were watching the 49ers practice, and off this play, they have a pass. I tell you, this is a big mistake for the Bengals here. Watch this. We see Clark coming in. It's the end of the run. He really didn't gain anything. Now, everything is okay there. He goes down. The whistle blows, and it's that last blow in there by Jim LeClaire, number 55. That's 15 big yards.
And they walk it off against Cincinnati.
Personal foul, number 55, defense, first down.
That was the voice of Pat Haggerty, the referee. Here, watch 55.
You know, right there, everything's okay. The whistle probably blows, but after the whistle blows, you can't hit him. The other rule is you can't hit him in the head.
1st and 10 from just outside the 10. The throw to Cooper, and Cooper scores for San Francisco from Montana. Big Earl Cooper.
Now we'll see Cooper fake through to the right, then he just goes across underneath all the coverage, picks it up, takes it into the end zone.
Worshing with Montana holding makes it San Francisco 14, Cincinnati nothing. Earl Cooper. We mentioned before that Bill Walsh thought he might be a big factor today, and he surely has been that. San Francisco 14-0. There's the story of that San Francisco drive, and once again, the touchdown, although it was a good drive, 92 yards in 12 plays, came after a turnover. They recovered the fumble by Collinsworth. Ray Wershing set to kick off and back deep. There's Wershing back deep for Cincinnati. Verser and Archie Griffin, with Griffin standing in front of Verser at the moment. Wershing signaling that he's ready. Low bouncing kick handled finally by Verser. No, he hasn't handled it yet. And Verser is going to be down inside the 5, but a penalty marker goes down. Eric Wright was down there quickly.
We were talking about things that the kickers like on this field. You know, besides the weather and the wind, they love to kick on artificial turf and get those types of bounces. It's the second time we've seen that.
Talking a minute ago about that 92-yard drive by San Francisco. That's the longest in Super Bowl history. They started at the 8.
You want to know what he said if you didn't hear him? That was blocking from behind above the waist. I like that.
We've seen that a lot. And Excuse me.
I was just going to say it's been the #1 call all
I think
year.
so. Cincinnati will start from their own 2-yard line. Haggerty says, let's go. 14-0 San Francisco with 6:42 left to play in the first half of Super Bowl number 16. Anderson has Collinsworth to the left and Isaac Curtis to the right. Johnson. Lead with some room.
Let's look at the touchdown play again. Again, it's Earl Cooper here, who's a receiver. The linebackers drop deep in here into the end zone to protect in the end zone. Cooper fakes through here, then runs across, and Montana fakes, comes back, and hits him right here. See the defensive backs, they turned and ran deep to the end zone. Cooper was able to come underneath the whole group.
The fake is what set up the whole thing. Second down, Cincinnati at the 6. Anderson drops into the end zone. Throws up to his tight end, Ross. Ross cuts upfield for Bengal first down to the 15. Craig Pookie tripped him up.
Again, we see, Dan Ross is probably one of the best tight ends in football at this. Getting deep, getting underneath between linebackers. You see, he's a big target in there, 89. He gets behind the linebackers and in front of the secondary. Watch him. You see what he did? He went down that time. See, he faked like he was blocking and then got up and came across. That is a big Cincinnati play. They always do that.
First down at the 15. That goes back to the days of Paul Brown. Anderson outside Curtis. Incomplete. Ronnie Lott on the coverage.
Talking about Paul Brown, of course, Paul Brown was one of the great all-time coaches in this game, and we see a lot of his influence in this. Look at this, both touchdowns. The Bengals had an interception. The 49ers got 7 points out of it. Then they had a fumble, and the 49ers got another 7. All their 14 points have really result of turnover.
And both times, Cincinnati was down inside the 5-yard line. Second down. Anderson drops. Gonna have to hurry. Gets away from one. He gets it out to Ross. Ross has it go right through his hands. Lawrence Pillars is the one who made Anderson do the moving.
Let's watch Fred Dean on his rush here, and you'll see. Now watch Ross. You see, he's coming in, cutting Fred Dean first. Munoz, number 78, just waits for him. Ross then gets up and comes underneath. Now, that was a good pass. He was ready to turn up and start running before the ball got there.
That can be a very effective double team, I'd think, when the first man to hit the blocker or the defender turns out to be the initial receiver. Anderson drops again. Fires. Pass is caught this time by Ross. He'll be about a yard short of a first down, it appears. Bobby Leopold.
One thing we'll see him here now, it'll be a single block by Anthony Munoz. You get him thinking. See, now here we go. He's trying to get an inside move, but Munoz is so big at 275 pounds and so strong that when he took that inside, he said, okay, you're going in there, I'll let you go there. Boom, right to the ground.
Took him down right by Anderson. One punt so far today, 53 yards.
Canale hangs this one high and deep. Right, Hicks starts upfield. Swarmed on by Cincinnati. Good coverage by the Bengals. First man down was John Simmons, number 25. We have 4 minutes, 11 seconds left to play in the first half, and the score is the San Francisco 49ers 14, Cincinnati nothing.
That's the Silverdome from outside. A Teflon top. And inside, what a marvelous sight this is. Over 80,000 people. It will accommodate. First down, San Francisco at their own 34. They lead 14-0. They put Solomon in motion. The fake is to Patton. Good fake. Clark is is open. He'll have a first down in Cincinnati territory. Bobby Kemp, the defender.
Those are the greatest passes to throw on first down, and we'll see what the fake does. When you fake a run, you're trying to hold these linebackers in here so that you can get him into this area. Now watch how the fake affected those inside linebackers. You know, here's a fake. They step up, and Clark is able to get right in behind them.
First down, San Francisco. They start from the Cincinnati 49. Ricky Patton, the ball carrier, got a couple. Ricky went to high school in nearby Flint, Michigan. He and Williams were teammates, the Cincinnati linebacker. The only difference was in high school, Williams was a tailback, and Patton was a linebacker.
Right.
Now they've reversed roles.
How did he get that name, Ricky?
His mother enjoyed television, particularly I Love Lucy. His real name is Ricky Ricardo Patton. His full name, I should say. 2nd and 7. He'll get another try. And Ricky Patton rolls down to about the 40. Very close to another Niner first down.
Ricky Patton didn't play in the championship game against the Cowboys. Bill Walsh said he wasn't ready, but he's ready for this Super Bowl. That's that shoulder square, boom, turn it upfield.
Ross Browner came from the other side of the defense to make the stop. Ricky Patton, who bounced around Atlanta, Green Bay, left his heart in San Francisco. And he likes it. First down, 49ers. 39-yard line of Cincinnati. The line of scrimmage. Clark is lined up tight on the left side this time. A formation they like very much. Mike Wilson also in the game. To Cooper. Cooper breaks Leclerc's tackle, but Kemp and Hicks were right there quickly. That'll be the 2-minute warning. 49ers leading 14-0. San Francisco offensive line strolling around. Joe Montana, number 16, is 10 out of 13 for 113 yards as his team leads 14-0. Montana threw the one touchdown pass to Earl Cooper. He scored the other one on a quarterback sneak. A lot of people wild about Joe Montana right now. Second down, San Francisco. They need 6 for a first. They operate from the Bengal 35. Charlie Young was the man in motion. Browner is close. Pass was intended for Young as Montana just barely got it away. Glenn Cameron knocked it loose from Charlie Young.
Glenn Cameron didn't go for that fake. They brought Charlie Young across, held him there, and tried to bring him underneath Cameron. Glenn Cameron just waited right there for him.
Montana once again looking to the sideline.
Watch now, Charlie Young is on the left. We see him right there. Now watch the hit that he takes after he throws the ball. Boy, those quarterbacks really take a beating.
Eddie Edwards was the man first there. So it'll be 3rd down and 6. Montana. Clark. What a catch. Dwight Clark hit in the back just as he made the reception, but a diving catch by Dwight Clark.
I don't know how Dwight Clark does it. You know, you see Dwight Clark, he catches those things in the sidelines and up the field. But I'll tell you, when he goes inside, he always gets this type of thing. Watch him working on Riley. He gets his hand on him. Can he stretch out and catch that ball in the middle of the field?
That was not a bad job by Riley.
No, that's as close as you can get.
Clark has to take a little vacation on the sideline. He's replaced by Mike Schumann. The handoff is to Ricky Patton with a couple of blockers in front. Patton out of bounds on the far side of the field. 49ers fans seated on that side think he was hit out of bounds. Reggie Williams did the hitting.
That Bengals sideline, you can say that they're really concerned about this drive. Up 14-0. This is a big deal for the Cincinnati Bengals. They have to stop the 49ers now. They can't let them get that 3rd one in there.
Very solemn group. Anthony Munoz Outstanding offensive lineman of the year in the NFL. Cincinnati, you remember earlier, had to call a timeout, so they only have 2 left. San Francisco has all of theirs. Second down from the 22. Solomon in motion. Handoff Cooper. Earl Cooper rolls down to almost the 15 before Ross Browner trips him up.
Well, the 49ers having their 3 timeouts left, they can really run the clock down. They let a little of it go. They're taking a timeout right now, but they would like to get a score, and when they do, not leave any time on the clock for the Bengals.
San Francisco's first down total doubles Cincinnati, 14-7. The score does better than that. The 49ers 14, the Cincinnati Bengals nothing. The preceding message was furnished by the National Football League. 3rd and 1, 54 seconds left to play in the first half of Super Bowl 16. San Francisco again on the move and leading 14-0, sorry. 16 is the quarterback. He needed 1, he got it. He scored a touchdown like that earlier in this game. It's been an effective play all year long.
You know, another effective thing that the 49ers have done, they've had 7 third-down situations, and they've picked up 6 of them.
They're going quickly as Solomon goes in motion and Montana goes back. Outside Solomon, he has it. Out of bounds at the 5.
Bill Walsh, how calm he is. I'm so impressed with every play is a different play. Every receiver is a different receiver. We saw Solomon come across in motion. He'll come up the field and then run an out pattern to the sideline.
He's not playing like he's hurt, is he?
No. He says, this has been too long, and we've really done too much this season to miss the Super Bowl.
Second down, 29 seconds left in the first half. The Bengals with their backs to the wall. Here's Montana rolling right and looking and throwing. Clark caught it. Incomplete. The ball came flying out of the bottom of the pile. Clark appeared to have it for just a minute with Glenn Cameron wrapped all over him.
It looked like Glenn Cameron. It looked like the free safety Brian Hicks was there also. We'll see it. This looks like the big play that they got against Dallas. The same thing. He starts to the side. Instead of going to the receiver, he goes inside. And you're right. We saw Hicks come in first and knock the ball away.
32 at the Cincinnati 5.
It'll be 3rd and 2 at the Cincinnati 5. A 12th play in this drive. San Francisco dominating the first half. Montana looks into the end zone and throws it out of there. On purpose, and Ray Wersching, who never looks up once he starts from the sideline. He never looks even at the goalpost.
This is an interesting thing. He won't look at the goalpost. You see him feel Montana there, and he'll say, help me, help me, help me, to get the spot. Now you see he touches him once he has his spot. Now he looks at the hash marks on the field because the hash marks are an extension of the goalpost.
And he still hasn't looked up.
Nope, and he won't.
If it's good, he'll look up. It's good. 22 yards out. Ray Wersching. San Francisco 17, Cincinnati nothing. We invite you to stay with us at the half. We'll be switching to that triumvirate. Brent Musburger on the right, Roger Staubach in the middle, and Terry Bradshaw. Plus the Up With People halftime show, which is just outstanding. Brent and Irv and Terry Bradshaw and Roger Staubach with all kinds of analysis of the first half. And the Up With People show.
But that's the first time that those 2 quarterbacks have been at the Super Bowl and wearing a flower on their lapel, isn't it?
I think you're right.
They've been used to being down there and playing in this
with
game.
Helmets on against each other.
Right.
San Francisco 17, Cincinnati nothing. And we're winding down the first half. 15 seconds left to play. They have to be very satisfied with what has transpired in the Silverdome first half. Bengals have 2 timeouts remaining. David Verser will handle it if Wersching catches it right. Both teams 2 timeouts remaining. San Francisco's don't matter.
I would think with 15 seconds, Pat, that probably the Bengals timeouts really don't matter either. I think they'll just take this kickoff return. Unless they get an exceptional kickoff return, they'll probably just run the clock out.
Or unless San Francisco gets another turnover. Tough one to handle. Scramble inside the 5. And let's see, the clock is stopped with 5 seconds to go. San Francisco 49ers thinking they have it, and they could break the whole thing open right now if they do. San Francisco has it.
I know Bill Walsh in that sideline. I know they'll go for another one right here. Watch Archie Griffin. It was a ball that was tough to handle. Then he couldn't pick it up. Just as he went to, he gets hit. We'll see his brother, Ray Griffin, try and pick it up. He can't get it, and the 49ers end up with it.
Rick Jervis made the hit on Griffin, and Milt McCall, a reserve linebacker, made the recovery. That is the 3rd Cincinnati turnover. It'll be 1st and goal, San Francisco at the 4-yard line. Wersching is already present.
I thought they may take one shot at the end zone being that close, and then if they didn't get it, kick a field goal. But Bill Walsh must feel that with 5 seconds, he better get to 3.
Ray Wersching still looking at the artificial surface. Somebody jumped. Still 5 seconds on the scoreboard clock. Walt Downing.
Start offense.
False start against the offense.
False start. Bill Walsh is there. He wasn't even upset about that. But here's a big story in this game. Look at those turnovers. Cincinnati 3, San Francisco 1.
Start, 62 and 71 offense.
If you're playing for Cincinnati, of course, you have to be very aware of the fact that Montana can not only can throw it, he can run with it. Wersching pops it right through. San Francisco 20. Cincinnati nothing. 2 seconds still remain in the first half.
We'll think of that regular season game, and remember, just about the same thing happened. The Bengals had 6 turnovers in that game, and that was the one thing they said that we can't do. You see that they had 6 turnovers, and the 49ers only had 1, and the score was 21-3.
They've had 3 turnovers in this game, and the 49ers have scored after every one of them.
You know, that's the important statistic. Last week, well, in the championship game, the 49ers had 6 turnovers, but Dallas only scored 1 time after those 6 turnovers.
That's what's happened. Interception, San Francisco got a score. Fumble, San Francisco got a score. Another fumble, and San Francisco just got 3. Wersching again set to kick off. Verser and Griffin back deep for Cincinnati, but Wersching has been bouncing it and does it again. This time, we'll just stay with it. A little scuffle broke out between Amos Lawrence. At the beginning of that, Eric Wright comes in to join things, but that's the end of the first half as Bill Walsh takes his 49ers into what has to be a very happy locker room. They lead Cincinnati 20-0. Ronnie Lott. They waited a long time in San Francisco and in Cincinnati for their teams to get here to the Super Bowl. And at the end of one half, it's 20-0 49ers. in all around the Silverdome here in Pontiac, Michigan. And that's about as gloomy as it probably is inside that Cincinnati Bengal locker room right now. I suppose, Terry Bradshaw and Roger Staubach, if there is any reason for hope, we should point out that the Bengals were behind 21-0 against Seattle in their opening game. They did manage to come back in that one. But, Terry, it looks awfully bad here for them right now.
Well, Brent, what's happened in the biggest game of any professional football player's life is a Super Bowl. You do not make the mistakes. 3 turnovers, 2 costly fumbles, 1 interception. The interception down in where you do not want to come away. You want to come away with 3 points or a touchdown. Then the fumble by Collinsworth, that's another. You're right there on the 3 or 4 yard line. And then the kickoff there again. You're right down there. You just don't want to make those kind of mistakes. The Bengals have made all the key mistakes so far in this game.
Roger and Terry, we're going to come back and take a look at all of the plays a little bit later, but we do have some marvelous entertainment. Something that may even be more exciting than the game we've just seen in the first half. Let's go down now to the field and Phyllis George. Phyllis?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an exciting halftime extravaganza in store for you this afternoon. The National Football League is pleased to present Up with People in a special performance featuring music of the 1960s, the decade the Super Bowl was born. Up with People is an extraordinary educational and cultural program for young people all around the world. So without further ado, let's welcome 430 young people from 24 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, Up with People!
Going to bring back some of those unforgettable songs and sounds of the 1960s. It was a time of momentous change, and the music was changing too, with so many exciting innovations and instant legends. From the Beach Boys to the Beatles, Surfing to Soul, the Hootenanny to Motown, and here are just a few of the highlights. It's great to be here in Michigan. The people of this state helped to put the world on wheels, and some of those classic models of the 60s were immortalized in song. Motor City had been moving people for nearly a century, and in the 1960s, something else came from here that set the world in motion, the mighty Motown sound. Were very popular in the 60s. Many old songs came back, and new ones commented on what was happening during those times. Let's have a hootenanny right here at Super Bowl XVI. Everyone sing along. Michael rode the boat ashore. Hallelujah. Michael rode the boat ashore. Hallelujah. Everybody, sing it again. Michael rode the boat ashore. Hallelujah. Michael rode the boat ashore. Hallelujah.
Don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart, and then you can start to make it better, 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 better. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Hey Jude, hey Jude. Na 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 na, na na na. Hey Jude.
And as the decade came to an end, you could hear people singing.
Pageantry continues here at Super Bowl XVI, and we'll be right back with Roger Staubach and Terry Bradshaw taking a look at some highlights. But first, we're going to pause now for these messages from your local stations. Halftime of the Super Bowl, all San Francisco, 20-0, and Roger and Terry, the key in the first half, obviously the turnovers, Roger. The Bengals just could not get back after they dug themselves into that hole.
Well, that's exactly right. The first one was the big one. The interception, it just killed Cincinnati. They had a chance to get some points. They didn't do it. It also affected, I think, Kenny psychologically, because here he was moving the football. They got the turnover. He threw the interception. I think it affects you. I know it affected me at times, and this play right here affected a lot of people. Number one was Kenny Anderson for throwing a football he shouldn't have thrown. You got Hicks, who's a happy soul right here, making a key play. He's a hero. And Amos Lawrence is over on the bench saying, hey, thank you, Lord, because he was the GOAT at that time.
Terry, you were sitting with me. You had something about the wide receiver on that play.
I saw Curtis, and Curtis held through. He held up when he saw the guy cut in from him. He shouldn't have done that. Run right through him. He could either tackle him right there or knock the ball up, prevented the interception. So I think, you know, it's Kenny's fault, but I think Curtis had as much to do with it.
Then the 49ers came up the other way. Now let's take a look. Freddie Solomon moving for Joe Montana here.
Of course, the 49ers did their thing, Brent. They've taken advantage of turnovers all year. Here, right here, he just breaks to the outside, and Bill Walsh has been able to get people wide open. We've heard it time and time again. And there's who the closest guy to him is, I think, is your wife over there on the sideline, or the referee or somebody, wide open. And, of course, a well-designed play.
Terry, I want to take a look at this next play, Chris Collinsworth. It's kind of a different angle, just to see his possession and if he was indeed in control. We'll try to see if we can see it. He reached back for the ball here on this fumble.
Well, once again, Anderson's moving the ball club, and they get their first really big pass of the day, and they hit a kind of a deep curl in the zone. Both feet hit the ground, the ref's behind him, and he doesn't really see whether or not he has possession, I don't think. But I call this a fumble, and under the new NFL rules, it is a fumble.
Roger, let me ask you now about the kickoff fumble, because that was another huge turnover in this game. Doesn't this just show how jittery the Bengals are so far?
Well, it is, and that was a critical play. It cost them 3 points, and they seem to be tentative, and Terry and I were talking about it. The 49ers came out looser. They played looser during the week, and it showed in the first half, and maybe you have to play loose in this game. Who knows? But right here, it was another example of just being tentative, making a mistake, and it cost them 3 points.
Terry, quickly before we go back to Pat and John, can the Bengals come back?
They have to. Kenny Anderson has to lead them back. He has to play well. On the other hand, the 49ers cannot afford to get away from what they've done well. Throw the football, continue doing that.
Roger?
It's going to be a tough job. The Bengals have the ingredients to come back, but right now it's been all 49ers.
All right, let's go back now to Pat Summerall and John Madden. This is the biggest lead that any team has ever had in a Super Bowl. San Francisco leads Cincinnati 20-0. John, I know you weren't ever in this situation because you've always been a winner. What does Forrest Gregg tell his team at this point?
Well, what he has to tell them, Pat, is they can't think in terms of 20 points. They have to go in like it's 0-0 and get that first one and make them work from a 20-7, then a 14 and build on it. Now, I think Bill Walsh will tell his team, look, there's one more half. We can't pull up our tent. We can't stop now. We have to go out and continue to make things happen.
There was one point during the regular season when we were talking with Bill Walsh, and he said when he got in a situation like this, when he got a lead like this, that he would simply just stop throwing and start running the ball and keep an eye on the clock, and it didn't really matter if he made first downs. Of course, he'd like to, but he was trying to use up the clock.
I think he'll do that, but I don't think he'll do it until the fourth quarter or maybe the last 10 minutes in the game. He doesn't want to start that too soon.
There were a lot of key plays, of course, in that first half. I'm sure that Brent and Terry and Roger have discussed some of those. There is one particular one we want you to look at. We think this was one of the key plays. John?
You know, as we'll look at it here on the chalkboard, we'll see Jim LeClaire comes in and he gets a penalty for hitting Dwight Clark late. But watch what happens to him. He'll start in the frame right here. Now watch Randy Cross. We'll just stop it right there. Now here's Jim LeClaire. He's going to get called for a 15-yard penalty. But watch what happens right here by Randy Cross. Randy Cross really clips him into Dwight Clark. See the clip? The head behind knocked him right into it, so that could have been a double penalty.
And that indeed had to be one of the key plays because it did keep a San Francisco drive alive. That and turnovers have really done it. And as we mentioned before, this is the biggest lead a team has ever had at the end of one in a Super Bowl. Your Oakland Raiders were ahead, what, 16-0 at the half?
We were, and we knew that we weren't going to stop then. We had to come back and continue to do it.
But right now, it's San Francisco 20 and Cincinnati nothing with 1 to go. The 49ers are back on the field already, but you're looking inside the Cincinnati locker room. No team that was shut out in the first half has come back to win a Super Bowl. Right now, it's 20-0 San Francisco.
I'll tell you, Forrest Gregg isn't thinking about statistics right now. I know what he's telling me. He's telling me, look, this is the biggest day in our life. This is a world championship. We lost the first half, but we have to come out of here and win this second half and win it big.
They'll come out firing. Joe Montana, you saw just a minute ago, had a great first half. 12 out of 18, 132 yards, the touchdown pass to Earl Cooper. The score, not trying to make any apologies or anything like that. It is 20-0 for Bill Walsh's San Francisco 49ers. One of the turnovers that San Francisco got was on a fumble by Collinsworth, and the 49ers went 82 yards to score. They had it first and goal after Amos Lawrence of San Francisco fumbled the opening kickoff. Dwight Hicks intercepted a pass. So Cincinnati has been able to move the football.
They have, and it's just been, of course, those turnovers, and it happened the last time they played also. But, you know, one thing about that is the 49ers have caused turnovers all year. I think that's a credit to their defense. They really go out there and they make things happen. They tackle that ball and make it pop out of there.
There comes Forrest Gregg. Looks like he's ready to put on a pair of shoulder pads and get back into this thing. He said, in fact, if he had known that they were going to change the rules for pass protection like they have, he would not have ever retired.
He'd still be playing.
Kenny Anderson's first half, and it's not bad, except for the one interception.
You know, and early in the game, he really did his part. You know, you talked about that Collinsworth. That was a great throw and catch, and had him down there in the 5-yard line.
Montana's first half.
I met Joe Montana's mother last night at a party, and she's quite a lady, but I am sure that she was more nervous about this game than Joe Montana was.
When we talked to him earlier in the week, Joe's only 25 years old, keep in mind, and the build-up to this game is, well, if you haven't been through it, it has to be a little bit frightening. But he seemed very calm about everything.
Is he the youngest quarterback that's ever played in a Super Bowl or not? Have you figured that out?
Well, no, I haven't, but somebody has, and to the day, he and Joe Namath tie. That's considering leap years and dates of Super Bowls. They're exactly the same age when they started in the Super Bowl game, and so there's a first-place tie between Namath and Montana, both of whom, ironically, come from the state, the western half of Pennsylvania.
Joe Montana looks more like Barry Manilow, doesn't he, than Joe Namath?
Whatever he looks like, he's a marvelous athlete.
He has another record. He's been on the cover of 3 magazines, 3 national magazines this past week.
I think that must be a Bengal fan.
He didn't make the cover of any magazines. He's trying, though.
He might have difficulty with the back page. Here's Wershing. I never have figured out why he does that.
You know, what they do is they put new footballs in the game. And that football has never been used or kicked before, and they're a little stiff. So what they try and do is push it and loosen it up a little so they get that what do you call it, resiliency?
I guess. Wershing with it down at the 35. He looks up on kickoffs, but not on field goals or extra points. Both kickers, Breach and Wershing, went to the University of California. Not at the same time. Wershing hangs it high and deep, and Verser goes back to the 1. A little wedge in front, but the 49ers tear it apart. Rick Jervis. Let's look at the statistics of the first half.
Of course, again, we've been talking about those turnovers. The one down in the right-hand corner, 3 turnovers for the Bengals, and that's it. But look at the passing. The 49ers had 132 yards to 73 of the Bengals. Total yards, 208, over twice as many yards on offense as the Bengals.
And 14 more offensive plays. First down, Cincinnati. They start from their own 17. Anderson back to Alexander on first down. And Alexander with some running room. Swings outside to the right. Knocked out of bounds by Dwight Hicks. A different offensive formation.
It was. I think there's a flag on that play, Pat. It came out late, right on the sideline. That may be one of those late hits on the sideline.
Base number 22.
It's against Dwight Hicks, a face mask violation. Reminds me that we have not had a chance to identify the officials. We've told you about Pat Haggerty. We'll get to the rest of them in just a minute, as soon as he tells us about that violation.
Number 22, first down.
Here it is.
We'll see it right in. Now, you see him grab the face mask with his left hand there. Now, that's a 5-yard penalty, they say, because he really didn't try and grab it. If it was a flagrant foul, it would be 15 yards.
It's the first down, Cincinnati at the 35. They've been a good come-from-behind team all year long. Pitch back to Johnson. Alexander out in front. And Johnson is bounced out of bounds by Keena Turner. And Willie Harper.
On the stop for 49ers,
You know, it's interesting. The 49ers defensively have been a three-man line team all year. They're starting this half with a four-man line with Fred Dean in there.
We run down the rest of the officials quickly. Pat Haggerty, the referee. Al Conway, the umpire. The linesman is Jerry Bergman. The line judge, Bob Beeks. Back judge, Bill Swanson. Side judge, Bob Rice. The field judge, Don Hakes. And the alternates, Gene Barth and Grover Trimmer. 2nd and 7 at the 38. Anderson looks quickly. Throws quickly. Alexander. Pass complete for about 3 yards. Carlton Williamson up quickly again.
You know, an interesting thing on that play, Pat. Remember the one we saw earlier, the couple where Dan Ross blocks, goes to the ground and gets up? That time he tried to do it, and Willie Harper, number 59, the outside linebacker of the 49ers, just grabbed him and held him there so he couldn't get up.
Steve Kreider, number 86, who's a very important cog in the Cincinnati passing offense, is in the game now. Lined up in the backfield. What do they do from this formation?
Well, he'll shift either right or left. He shifts left, makes a triple formation.
On 3rd down and 4. Penalty markers down. Anderson will go through it wisely. He has Kreider. 1st down, they'll keep that one. 19-yard gain.
That's a great time for a quarterback. He knew the 49ers jumped offside. He knows that he can throw the ball, and no matter what happens, he can get it back. Now, here's a triple formation. 3 wide receivers. Kreider, 86, the inside person, is just running across the field on Ronnie Lott. He gets a step on him, comes under control, and gets another big first down.
Number 74, declined, 1st down.
The offside against Fred Dean declined. 1st down, Bengals at the 49er 40. Very, very big drive for Cincinnati right here. Curtis wide to the right. Collinsworth to the left. Pete Johnson rumbles to the 35. Pick up 6. Archie Reese.
Look at the size of that Pete Johnson. Archie Reese was saying the other day that he's bigger than any of our defensive linemen other than he himself, Archie Reese.
Archie also said, that goes Dwayne Board, who lifts up, if he got tangled up with the center, Pete was almost too big to handle if he was fighting a block when Pete came by.
So he has to get off that center quickly.
2nd and 5. The pitch is back. It was to Archie Griffin, who throws it back to Anderson. He has a man wide open, Isaac Curtis. He can't get up in time to get any more, but it's a 1st down Cincinnati, and there's a late hit against San Francisco.
Now that was some play, wasn't it? A handoff and then a throw back. Isaac Curtis was down. He didn't try and get up. They have to touch him down, but it's going to be a personal foul. Watch, Archie Griffin gets it, throws it back to Ken Anderson, who then finds Isaac Curtis on the opposite side of the field. Now watch here. Now when he catches the ball, he can really get up and run with it. No one has touched him yet. See, Isaac, I don't know if he's trying to, but then that was really a spear.
It was Eric Wright who came in late, number 21. Pookie went over the top. There's Dwayne Board on the 49ers sideline. Left knee problems, it appears. 1st down, Cincinnati on the move at the San Francisco 11. Collinsworth and Curtis both wide to the right. Archie Griffin still on his feet. Archie down to about the 7, fighting to the 6 perhaps. He has replaced Alexander. Dwight Hicks made the stop. The first man to hit him.
Archie looks like he's fired up, doesn't he? You know, most of the time when the Bengals get down into this area, everyone keys on Big Pete Johnson. So they're trying to throw these keys off by either running to Archie Griffin or Charles Alexander.
Alexander had a big day against Buffalo in the playoffs, you recall.
3 touchdowns.
And now Alexander is back behind Pete Johnson. Anderson up. 2nd down, 6 to go at the 7 of San Francisco. 20-0 Niners. Pitch back Johnson. And Pete Johnson may have gotten a yard. Started upfield, was hit by a gang of Niners. Fred Dean, the first one there, I believe.
Now they're bringing in Steve Kreider, their third wide receiver, so this next play is going to be a pass play. Watch Fred Dean here. He reacts down to the inside, then gets back to the outside. Everyone thinks about Fred Dean as a pass rusher, but he is also tough against the run.
3rd and 4 at the 5 for Cincinnati. They can make a first down without scoring. You think he'll put it up?
I sure do.
Curtis in motion. He's thinking about it. Anderson is going to get in.
That's what the Bengals had to do. We talked about this earlier, how strong Anderson is, how he can take the ball, and if you give him a lane in there, a pass rush lane, he'll take it. You see that hole right there? He sees it and knows that he can get all the way to the goal line with it.
He knows when to slide, and he also knows when to dive.
And he knows when he can get a touchdown.
Breach will try the extra point. Kreider will hold. Penalty markers fly all over the place. The extra point is good from Breach. Horace Gregg pointing. They'll keep that one, too.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the 49ers didn't have 12 men on the field.
A kick is good. There's the man who scored the Cincinnati touchdown, Kenny Anderson.
Again, the big thing with rushing Ken Anderson is that you stay in your lanes, that you get into his face, and you don't give him gaps in there like the 49ers did on that play. Big play by Ken Anderson.
That turns the whole complex. The violation on the extra point was against San Francisco. So Breach will kick off from the 40 instead of the 35. Bill Ring and Amos, no. Dwight Hicks back deep for the 49ers. Remember, Lawrence had some problems on the opening kickoff. That's going to be hard to handle. Now Breach, who again tried to kick it to the left, will have to go back to where he would have begun if everything had been legal. And now here goes another penalty flag.
There was a fight or something out there about the 30-yard line.
Ronnie Lott was one of the people involved. Guy Frazier was the Bengal involved, and Bobby Leopold was there with Lott. I'm not sure if there was a referee and 2 participants or what was going on. Depending upon what they say here, let's wait a minute. Breach would have to move back to the 35.
We have an illegal procedure with a kickoff out of bounds against the kicking team. A personal foul, number 52. After the play was over, a 15-yard penalty. We will enforce the 15-yard penalty only.
That, we have agreed before, is a good rule. A personal foul never goes unpunished.
It's a good rule. The only thing is, had the ball been inbounds, then that would have put the 49ers back deep in their territory. Now, the fact that the kick was out of bounds, those 15 yards, just let Breach kick from the 45-yard line. Now, an interesting thing here, from that position, this is a good place to try an onside kick.
Or at least bounce it, and hopefully they'll have some trouble with it. It would be easy to pop it out of the end zone from here.
I'm sure he won't do that. The 49ers have changed their kickoff return team. They're in an onside prevent now. They have what they call their hands team in there.
They've got deep Freddie Solomon and Amos Lawrence, so they're ready for this situation. They've got Lott on the far side. They've got Charlie Young in the game. They got a lot of people with a lot of good hands. There's the bouncer. And Solomon lets it roll into the end zone. Now he's still got it down, and now he doesn't. It's out of there. So they'll come back to the 20. They had it planned.
They did. They were going to get that and hope for a good roll or one of those high hops. It would amount darn near like an onside kick.
Number 88, Freddie Solomon, made a good play to keep hands off because that was a hard ball to handle.
And he knew that if it goes in the end zone, he'd have to jump on it. But if it has enough power to go through the end zone, they get the ball in the 20.
And that's where they'll start from. That is Joe Montana's wife, who must be enjoying things so far. Cash, your husband's had a good first half.
With that smile on her face, she looked like she knew it, didn't she?
Earl Cooper goes in motion, and Montana goes right to work. The blitz is on, and Ross Browner takes him down. The first sack of the day by the Bengals. And the whole thing's turning around. Ross Browner first there.
Now, this is what we were talking about at halftime. We see Bobby Kemp comes from the outside, and then they let Browner go. He takes the inside. Ross Browner coming right here, and he was a teammate of Joe Montana's at Notre Dame.
Big Ross Browner, four-year pro, one of many first-round draft choices, 10 in fact on this Cincinnati team.
The entire defensive line are all first-round draft choices.
It'll be second down 19 from the 49er 11. Montana going deep. That was up for grabs. Solomon grabs it. Well, now it's loose. It's incomplete. Lewis Breeden and Byron Hicks back with Solomon.
You know, over the years, Pat, they've always talked about teams in Super Bowl, how they get conservative, and they just play defense and run things. Neither one of these teams have been conservative. The 49ers have the lead, but look at the things they're trying to do. Boom, they're going deep up, making big plays. Cincinnati's coming back. This is the way, this is the football of the 80s.
Both of them have never wavered from their statements at the very beginning. The pass is what got us here. That's the only thing we're going to do. Cincinnati fans at the moment going wild. 3rd and 19. Line of scrimmage, the 11. And now they'll coast a bit. Ricky Patton, the ball carrier, hit by Reggie Williams first. And Miller will have to come on to punt.
There's Reggie Williams. Did he make a great play on that? He was a right side linebacker. The ball went to the other side, and he really runs the ball carrier down. Now watch him. He comes like he's shot out of a cannon there. Flattens out right down the line of scrimmage. Sprints. Now watch that tackle right through Ricky Patton. What an effort.
That's called desire. Miller at the goal line with the bare foot. Cross the center. Good snap. That'll hang for a while. This is Fuller at the 38. Mike Fuller gets it into San Francisco territory. Keena Turner made the stop. Well, now, we were talking about all those big leads and nobody's ever come back and all that other statistical stuff, but it's 20-7 now.
Here's Steve Kreider. He's going to rush the punter. Now, his first job is to rush the punter, make him kick the ball. After the ball is kicked, he stops. Now he has to hold up number 85, Mike Wilson, who's on the punt coverage team. Watch how they hold each other up. Look at this. That looks like something you see in that bulldogging event.
Hard to tell who's holding up whom.
The official was right there watching the whole thing. You see him?
Stuckey on defense for San Francisco at the left defensive end. Alexander and Pete Johnson, the backs for Cincinnati, and now it's only Johnson. First down, Cincinnati at the 49er. Started at the 49, now it's about the 46. Over on the Cincinnati bench.
They're talking about their defense with Hank Fuller, and you see what they're trying to do. It looks like they're going to get, there's Reggie Williams. He's talking about getting more straight. Looks like they want to play their linebackers a little more tight.
Fred Dean and his group coming in from the 49er sideline. Hank Fuller, who Forrest Gregg described as having a lot of schemes.
A lot of schemes, a lot of tricks.
Second down and 7. Passing down for Cincinnati. They got a guy who can do it. Outside Collinsworth, he can't hang on. Dean is out there quickly. thinking possibly it might have been a lateral, but it wasn't.
It was interesting in that last drive. Cincinnati had a lot of success with 3 wide receivers in the game. They started on first down with 3 wide receivers, and now we see on this down they're going to have 4 wide receivers.
4 wide receivers. This time they've got Purser and Kreider all in the game. Two to the left and 2 to the right. Johnson, the deep back. Anderson scrambles. Anderson runs out of bounds. Not much he could do. Bobby Leopold knocked him out of bounds. It's going to be 4th and about 6 or 7.
Some fan came on the field and took Chris Collinsworth's chin strap from him. Chris started to chase him. I'm sure they'll punt the ball here. They have plenty of time.
Yeah. Collinsworth lost a shoulder pad strap as well as a chin strap. Tough day, tough play for Chris.
That's what he told you the other day. He said the program says I'm a rookie, and the newspapers say I'm a rookie, but this body tells me I'm not.
McAnally in the direction of Solomon, who puts up the fair catch signal, but there's a penalty marker down. Has to be a Bengal illegally downfield, I think. 32-yard punt by McAnally.
An eligible man downfield, number 36.
Be interesting here, whether the 49ers make them kick it again or they take the ball there and turn down the penalty, which looks like they're going to do.
Well, you got the ball clean.
An eligible man downfield, number 36, decline, first down.
They'll take over at the 15. It was Jim Hargrove who was down too quickly, and Bill Walsh deep in thought. 20-7 he leads. That is Sean Weatherly, a former Miss Universe, whose regular companion is Dwight Clark, number 87 for the 49ers.
What a year they've had. They're both alumni of Clemson, who was #1 in the colleges, and here they are in the Super Bowl, leading 20-7.
Dwight Clark's had a good year on and off the field. Earl Cooper swings to the left, swarmed on by Ross Browner. Underneath, Jim LeClaire.
This Cincinnati Bengal team looks like a different team this second half, don't they, than they did the first. I mean, they're crisp on offense, they're sharp, they're moving very well on defense.
Doing just exactly what you said they had to do and what you thought they'd do. Don't come out firing from the hip. Stick to what you do best. San Francisco has -7 yards so far in this half. 7:54 left in the third quarter. Draw play to Bill Ring. Hit down by Eddie Edwards.
Well, the thing is, we could say that the 49ers are turning conservative in the second half, but I don't believe that, because what they've had is they've really had some poor field position. I think that Bill Walsh and Joe Montana would like to get a little better field position before they start really opening up.
And now the Bengals make some substitutions. They come in with a pass rush group that includes Mike St. Clair and Gary Burley, and an extra defensive back, Ray Griffin. Will they blitz? Will they blitz?
I think they may put pressure on Montana here, yes.
Montana rolls right to get away from it, throws upfield. That won't be a first down. It's complete to Ray. Ray Griffin knocked him out of bounds. Listen to the Cincinnati fans.
Well, they can feel it too. The Bengals came out this first half and they weren't really crisp like they are now. They got something there at halftime. As we said, they really look a lot different, don't they?
Miller again in for San Francisco, number 3. His 2 punts have been effective, 45.5-yard average. Mike Fuller is number 42. There's a guy who's glad this game is not outside.
He has to wear a sock on one leg. Did you see that little red thing he has on his right leg? They call that a sock.
another one high and chases Fuller back deep. Fuller again gets it back close to midfield. Tina Turner made the tackle. There's Mike Fuller. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited.
I'll bet every one of these players somewhere will see a tape of this game. They'll never forget this day.
Ken Anderson, who has scored the touchdown for the Bengals on a run, not a scramble. Alexander out wide to the left on the other side of Collinsworth. Anderson again tries to run. The penalty marker goes down. It's got to be a violation against Ross, the tight end, who was trying to block.
I'm sure you're right. That was Dan Ross, the tight end. He came out like he was trying to get a release, and then he was blocking the linebacker. I think he just held on to him. It was Willie Harper who he was blocking.
49ers have already indicated they'll take it. Sure, that comes as no surprise.
Dan Ross has really been something for this team, hasn't he? What was Forrest Gregg telling us?
Said when he first came, and he took a look. Here's Haggerty.
We have holding, number 89, offense.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Watch him here now. See, the right hand starts out there. You see the right hand? That's outside the plane of the defensive man's body. So that was holding right off the bat. His first move was holding.
And that was continued holding throughout the entire block.
That was a lock on and hold on.
Got three wide receivers to the left. Anderson will look for him. He has Ross wide open. Ross cuts back upfield. Gets to the 49er 44. And here comes another penalty marker down. That's going to be against Kreider, who hit Ronnie Lott after the play was over.
This is one thing in the heat of battle that you try and keep everyone calm. That's what Forrest Gregg is saying. He's saying, just calm down. Just calm down. We have to play.
Back to the story of Ross, who just caught that pass. Forrest Gregg said when he first got to Cincinnati, first took over, he looked at films and he looked at Ross and he said, the first thing we got to do is get us a tight end.
Personal foul.
He said, it turns out I was wrong and really wrong.
They said, Paul Brown says no. He said, don't say that until you see him. I think you'll like him.
He caught 71 passes this year.
This is a big penalty here that really hurts the Bengals because that's going to amount to close to 25 or 30 yards of penalty after the gain and then the penalty.
Personal foul. Dead ball foul. Count counts. Down counts. So it is second down.
Dead ball foul. It applies in football and basketball.
See, now Ross is down. The play is over now. The whistle is blown. Now watch number 42, Ronnie Lott. And we'll see Steve Kreider come in from the right of your screen and hit him. See, the play's all over. Lott is relaxing, and that, of course, is the 15-yard penalty.
There can be no question about that. Again, three wide receivers, however. It'll be second down. That down counted. Anderson into the pocket. Dean chasing and has him. Fred Dean from behind.
That was the same pattern that they'd completed before. Now watch Fred Dean here. We'll see him start up the field and just take that outside move. See, Munoz gets his hands on him. Fred Dean just keeps playing. Watch, now he'll come in and he'll get Anderson from behind.
You couldn't say that was a bad job by Munoz.
No, he did a nice job, but it was a great job by Dean, who just stayed with it. Now see the three wide receivers, the three defensive backs all running with him. Real good coverage. That's why Anderson couldn't throw the ball.
Third and long, and Anderson will try to throw again. Again, Dean in pursuit. Deep for Collinsworth. He's open. Got it. Penalty marker down. Eric Wright, was back there with him, but Collinsworth over the shoulder and to the outside.
What a great catch that was. You know, Chris Collinsworth can run. He has good moves in the ins and outs, but he has great deep speed. He was, what, 4'5", wasn't he?
Right.
Defensive pass interference, number 21, declined. First down.
First down, Cincinnati.
What a comeback from the Bengals. After that, they had the penalty. They come right back. You see him give a little move there that held right. And then with that next step, he was able to go up the field and right by him. And what a catch. Going downfield, looking directly back over his head. Whew, what a throw and a catch.
Forrest Gregg said we had some doubts about him. Long legs, long arms, long neck. But we kept looking at that 4'5", and as soon as we saw it at camp, we knew we had us a jewel.
And he has been.
First down, Bengals. A 14-yard line at San Francisco. This is Alexander. Trying to cut back inside. Can't do much. 49er pursuit is excellent. Jack Reynolds, the hacksaw, first to arrive.
There's Ken Anderson's wife, and now she looks happy. She does. What a great throw Ken just made, Bonnie. She looked like she was trying not to smile.
They're still behind by 13. They score on this drive. We'll see some more teeth.
A lot of yelling by these people in orange.
That's the book on Anderson so far. 2nd and 9 from the 13. Anderson will put it up. Looking, can't find any place to go. That's the 4th sack by the 49ers. He gets back to the 15 for a loss of perhaps 2 yards.
And you see who that sack was? That was Jack Reynolds. You know, that time, I'm sure. Now watch him right here in front of our screen, 64. He starts on a blitz. Now, he is going to get right in front of Anderson. Don't let him run. I'm sure that's his assignment. And you see Hacksaw come in from behind and get him. They've had enough of that Anderson running, so now they let their defensive lineman rush, send the linebacker just for Anderson.
That Hacksaw was taped when he had his eggs for breakfast. 3rd down, 11. They put Kreider in motion. Anderson looking for time, throws. He has Ross. He had a first down at one time. 49ers knocked him backwards, and he had to come back to catch the pass.
This will be an interesting spot, because if he catches the ball there and he's knocked backwards, it should be a first down, but it's not. Now, watch this. Here's Dan Ross. You see, he's going to drive upfield on Carlton Williamson, then drive back and make the catch. Now, to catch that ball, to beat Williamson, he had to work back a little, and that lost him the first down. So this is a big, big one. 4th and about a foot.
They're going to go. You question this at all, John?
I think this is going to go to Pete Johnson.
Johnson rambles for the first down to the 3. Jack Reynolds stopped him. First down, Cincinnati. Excuse me, I was just going to ask you if you think Forrest Gregg ever had any doubt about going for it.
I don't think he did. When you have a fullback like Pete Johnson, who weighs over 250 pounds, you're playing in the Super Bowl, you have to be able to make a yard. You see, he gets a lead block there by Alexander. And you see when he hits that pile, the whole pile went backwards.
Cincinnati has 8 first downs in this quarter. San Francisco has 0. None.
What a difference a half makes.
Wow. Anderson up quickly. 49ers get in a late substitute. Anderson puts the man in motion. He again gives to Johnson, and Pete gets down close. Looks like he's about a half yard short.
Well, that was an interesting formation. It was a split backfield. Now watch that. You see they get the motion to get a little thing in the secondary there, and they just hand to Pete Johnson, who's just straight ahead, man-to-man blocking. We see Blair Bush, number 58, does an excellent job of getting Johnson a little crease.
Bush put the block and the knock and the takedown on Archie Reese. 2nd down and goal for Cincinnati. Ball inside the 1. Johnson again. This time he is hit by Jack Reynolds and knocked backwards, if you can believe that.
We talk about Jack Reynolds and the way that he studies. He knows down here. Watch his determination. Look at that. This is goal line. This brings out everything in a person. Now watch it. He's watching Pete Johnson right away. He sees him. He goes right to the hole, turns up when Johnson does, meets him square, and that's the end of Pete Johnson's going forward.
Reynolds led with his head, and he stays. The 11th play in this drive coming up. Anderson will look and throw. Alexander does not get in. Dan Buns is the 49er who hit him at the half-yard line. They got to go again, and that's what Forrest Gregg has already said. Go for it.
Well, he's going to take a timeout because he wants to, one, he has fourth down. He only has one play. He wants to, one, talk about it, and two, make sure that he's making the right decision.
He needs a half yard.
This was a great tackle by Dan Buns. He's a backup linebacker. Over the years, he has been a starter, but this should have been a touchdown here. When this is completed here, Alexander turns, and Buns was right there. Ooh, that's great coverage.
Outstanding. Outstanding. That's what they have left. Just less than a yard. Anderson over talking with the offensive coordinators and with Forrest Gregg. Bill Walsh has to be wondering about, I suppose, philosophy, although you can't question what he's done. He hadn't had anything to work with.
He's thinking he hasn't had a first down this half. You know what would be a pretty good play, Ken, here while you're going in, is fake the ball to Pete Johnson, keep it yourself, and bootleg it into the end zone. I think that would get it.
Well, what about continuing with that? If somebody forces Anderson, he might have somebody in the end zone. Breach is getting ready, just in case.
I think Breach is getting ready to kick off.
I think that's exactly what Forrest Gregg has in mind for him at the moment. Forrest Gregg is quite a man, really. You hear a lot of talk about him being such a strict disciplinarian, and he admits it because he said, I've seen it succeed. Let's see if Kenny Anderson can succeed. They give to Johnson, and I don't know. The 49ers don't think he made it.
Who's on the bottom of that pile? Jack Reynolds again, number 64. Watch this. Now everyone gets low. It's goal line. Defense gets low. They beat him down there. The defense beat the offense. You see them, they got underneath the offensive line and got penetration. Watch these first moves of the defensive linemen. They're down low. Now Hacksaw can come over the top and stop the penetration.
There were a lot of folks on the bottom, and Hacksaw was on the top. That's a team effort for San Francisco's defense. Pat Summerall with John Madden, Super Bowl 16, brought to you by CBS Sports. 49ers lining up in their own end zone. A great goal line stand by their defensive cohorts. They lead 20-7. The give is to Ring. He gets out to about the 3 or 3.5. Glenn Cameron, the tackler. Let's look at that goal line play again.
Watch this again. Watch this play. All those white jerseys look like the whole 49er defense was there. And then watch after the play when they know that they stopped. And watch Ronnie Lott here, number 42. Look at Archie Reese. He's staying down there and exciting. He's the leader of that type of group.
They just flat beat him off the ball. The defense beat the offense off the ball. Second down for Montana and his offense. Ring again. Ring is tripped up and hit down at about the 8. Bobby Kemp, Cincinnati's tackler. It'll be third down.
You know, that series and that drive is one that's going to be talked about a long time when you talk about Super Bowl 16. It was a great drive by the Bengals. They had 12 plays. They had the ball for 5 minutes and 36 seconds.
That's LeClaire, who seems to have injured his left knee. And he is being looked at. A 10-year pro. Cincinnati, up until this present drive right here, had outgained San Francisco 138 yards to 3 yards. Max Montoya with the ice pack on the left knee. The flares up. Big third down play for San Francisco. They don't have a first down in this half yet. 22 seconds left to play in the third quarter. See if we can see what happened.
Looked like he hyperextended his knee on this play. We'll see 55 right there. You see him, he takes on the block. Now watch his knee buckle under, and then he goes back right over both of his knees.
Rick Razzano will take his place. 10-year veteran Leclerc comes out. Third down, the 49ers need 3 for a first. The line of scrimmage is the 8-yard line. Montana, of course, gets his signals from the sideline. He'll have Ricky Patton and Earl Cooper as his 2 running backs.
He probably won't run a play. They'll wait for the third quarter to end. They'll just stay in the huddle until the gun goes off for the third quarter.
Now Montana already has headed for the bench as the third quarter winds down. And that's it. The gun ends it. 138 yards to 3, not including that last sequence by San Francisco in the third quarter. They lead 20-7. Fourth quarter about to start at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. San Francisco 20, Cincinnati 7. Big third down play. They need 3, 4 perhaps. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Solomon split out wide to the right as you look at the defense of San Francisco. Montana calls him. Ricky Patton in motion. Montana gives on a draw play to Cooper. He won't make it. Ross Browner was the first man to hit him.
We were talking that was a big play, and that was because Cincinnati didn't get in the last time they had it, but now they're going to get the ball right back again. Ross Bronner made a big play. He shot inside of Dan Audick to catch Earl Cooper.
Jim Miller has had a good day. Mike Fuller back deep for Cincinnati. People forget that the center has a lot of responsibility in a situation like this, too. It's Randy Cross, who was drafted as a center, now goes to the Pro Bowl as a guard.
The Bengals may have a punt block on here.
Not one of Miller's best, but it does take a good bounce, but right to Fuller. Not much doing as the 49er coverage is there quickly. Mike Thomas, the first man down. 44-yard punt. 60 minutes will be coming up following football, except on the West Coast, where you'll see it at its regular time. Super Bowl XVI is the football you're looking at with one more quarter to go. 13:58 remaining. Bengals have it at their own 44. They've been close a lot of times. They've scored only once. Anderson, the quarterback. Johnson gets across midfield down to the San Francisco 49. Jack Reynolds again the tackler.
Look at this statistic here, Pat, that the Bengals have led the National Football League in fourth quarter points. They've scored more points in the fourth quarter than any other team in the league.
San Francisco leading by 13. Second down for Cincinnati. Just across the midfield stripe. Anderson. Back quickly. Dean chasing. Anderson throws. He has Collinsworth. Inside the 40 to the 38. It'll be a Cincinnati first down. Willie Harper takes him down. We'll look at Collinsworth first, and then we'll show you the pass rush.
Here's where a 6'5" receiver, outside receiver, is really something for a quarterback. He can run those inside patterns against a zone, square his shoulders, show the quarterback his numbers, and Anderson can hit him right between the 8 and the O. Now watch Fred Dean against Anthony Munoz. He's right there. Munoz has his hands in front and then pushes him to the outside just enough.
First down, Cincinnati. Ball at the San Francisco 38. Alexander wide right. Along with Curtis. He'll throw again. Dean is almost loose. Throws down the middle. Dan Ross, the tight end. Another first down.
Well, we've watched a lot of films and tapes on Dan Ross, and he catches more balls like that really aren't right to him. Watch, he's the inside guy here. Again, they're working against the zone. Push up, square around, show the quarterback your numbers, and then just slide a little to the outside.
I made a mistake about the first down business. It's about a foot short.
Yeah, that's good enough. That's
okay if it's good enough.
That's a good situation. It's like a free down.
I was going to apologize, but I won't.
Yeah.
Second down. Anderson down the middle. A lot of bumping, and a penalty marker comes down. I saw it coming. It was intended for Curtis, and it's going to be against Ronnie Lott.
Now, this is an interesting one. If the ball is in the air, it's pass interference, and the ball will be spotted at 15.
Number 42, defense, first down.
Haggerty called it pass interference, or one of his henchmen did.
Right, I was just talking about that, Pat. You see, if the ball is in the air, it's just on the left of your picture here. You see right there. There's Ronnie Lott come in and got a bump before the ball got there.
That'll make it first down Cincinnati at the San Francisco 15. Clock running. Clock stop. Sorry, 11:42. Alexander goes out to the right again. Anderson goes back again. He is chased again. And he throws. Incomplete.
I don't know. That's a close one. He threw that one. There was no receiver in the area. The closest men were two offensive linemen. That really should be a penalty for throwing the ball away. The Bengals get a break here. Watch this pass rush. You know, watch. There'll be no one here in the picture except the offensive lineman. There was Max Montoya, number 65, and he's not eligible.
Don't they have something, the officials, that says if in their opinion he is trying to avoid a loss, that the receivers in the area don't really make any difference? I'm not sure about that, Jim. Second down. Ryder in motion to the right. Anderson looking and throwing. Ross has it just outside the 5. Carlton Williamson, the defender. Same old Ross.
We were talking about Dan Ross. He gets more balls thrown over his head, behind him, inside, outside. Now watch, he's working against Carlton Williamson there. Gives him a little inside move and look, then a little curl, and the ball was right there. That was a great throw by Anderson. That hit him right between the 8 and the 6.
Ross, as we expected, and as Cincinnati fans expected, I'm sure, has had another great day. 7 catches. Bengals out quickly. They've been to here before and got nothing. 2 tight ends. This is their short yardage formation. They give this time to Alexander. He's got the first down. It'll be first and goal from just inside the 5. Jack Reynolds on the bottom of the pile.
This is an interesting situation here, and what Forrest Gregg is thinking. He's been down there before, as you said, has tried to run, really hasn't been successful. So I would expect on first down here some type of pass. Well, we have to have a measurement first.
The marker is on the 5. The ball is inside the 5.
That's a first down. They don't even have to measure that one. 20 years of coaching, never missed a spot.
I've been broadcasting NFL for 20 years. Between us, we ought to be able to know.
Yeah, we can figure those things out. But, you know, again, with a quarterback as big as Anderson is and as talented as he is and as strong a runner as he is, I would think that they may have some type of option pass down here.
It's an old worn-out cliche that one team won the first half and another team won the second half, but it applies to this contest. 3 wide receivers this time on first down. It'll change the pace. Ryder in motion to the right. Anderson is going to throw and does. Ross, touchdown.
Says he's going to keep that ball. They tried it the other way. They tried to run. That didn't work. They said, now first down, we're going to pass it in there. Now watch Dan Ross. Again, that big target just inside the end zone.
It was Carlton Williamson who tried to strip the ball away. But Ross is indeed that big target. Reach. A very important extra point. Ryder holding. Reach is good.
Watch it again, a good release. He's right into Carlton Williamson. He makes a little basketball twist there and pivot, and boom, the ball's there right again between the 8 and the 9. Oh, is he happy?
What a throw from Anderson.
I'll tell you, pass protection. Watch Anderson. He knows it now. He's going to come over and congratulate someone.
It's 20-14 San Francisco. We'll be back with more of Super Bowl 16 after this word from your local station. 1 10-minute period plus 6 seconds left to play. Breach about set to kick off. This one he goes straight with to Dwight Hicks at the 4. Behind the wedge. Hicks still on his feet. Taken down at the 25 by Rick Rosano. And the Bengal fans who were so quiet in half number 1 have really come alive with good reason. San Francisco has had the ball 3 times in the second half. They ran 3 plays and punted. They ran 3 plays and punted. They ran 3 more plays and punted. It's 20-14, 49ers. Cincinnati 31-9 in total play. Montana this time, though, has some room to work with. Outside, it's headed for Patton. Nothing doing. Reggie Williams there as soon as Patton was.
We talk about the determination of linebackers, and Jack Reynolds, we know what he is. I'll tell you, did you see Reggie Williams there? Look, there is a man that is determined.
What a story. He has a hearing defect. And people thought when he was in grade school, and perhaps even after that, that he might be retarded. Turned out that they found out he was hard of hearing, and he went to Dartmouth. Markers everywhere. Dan Audick, I believe, was the man who moved, picked up his hand.
Ball start, 61.
Bill Walsh is saying, what do we have going on here?
49ers totally dominated the first half, although Cincinnati did move the ball. Cincinnati's defense, we saw a minute ago that they score a lot of points in the fourth quarter. They also have allowed a lot. Because if you score a lot, the other team gets the ball a lot. Second down, 15 at the 22. Montana will throw again. Looking and does throw. Pass caught. Mike Wilson kept his feet in bounds. It's a 49er first down.
Tell you over there, Brian Hicks was really upset with that. He thought, now, the big thing about this play is that the 49ers haven't had a lot of success in this second half. So now they bring Montana out here to throw the ball as opposed to being there, and then they just get up here and get an out right here on the sideline. But the big thing is run Montana, great containment. Now watch him. We'll see Montana roll out here. Mike Wilson is the outside guy, the deepest one. He runs the sideline right there. I think he may have been out of bounds, Pat.
It was very close. 9:46 left. Montana under pressure. Pass incomplete. Penalty marker finally goes down. Ken Riley. Going to be called against Riley. Intended for Clark.
Of course, Ken Riley is a real veteran of this team. You know, 13 years experience. This is the first time that he's been in a Super Bowl.
Number 13, first down.
Let's watch him. He's covering Dwight Clark there. Clark stouts to the outside. Riley comes to break on him. Looks like to me he got there about the same time the ball did.
See what happened to Montana. Under heavy pressure from Eddie Edwards, he still got it away. And he's still trying to sneak a look and see if it was complete. Clark splits wide to the right, Solomon to the left. First down, San Francisco. At the 49, Solomon in motion. Handoff inside. Ricky Patton, he was almost off to the races. Byron Hicks got him around the leg, or Ricky Patton might have been gone.
Now the Bengals are blitzing on this play. We'll see him. We see the strong safety coming there, Bobby Kemp. So once Patton gets by that first line, he's all the way to the secondary and the weak safety, Brian Hicks.
Good block by Ayers on Cameron. They'll measure to see if it's a first down.
That was also a good call against that defense. They got them all up there in the blitz. We'll see it is a first down, and they just broke that quick trap in their arm.
9:22 remaining. You start thinking about what's going to happen in the rest of this game. The 49ers get a field goal out of this. It changes the entire complexion. It will make it 23-14. And the Bengals would need 2 scores. First down at the 41. Ricky Patton is hit behind the line of scrimmage and lunges forward for about 3. Ross Browner again hit him.
Ricky Patton's back. He played in the playoff game. He missed the NFC Championship against the Cowboys, and he's fine and fit for this one.
Pickup of 2, make it 2nd and 8 at the 39. They need about, what would you say, another 5 yards to get Wershing in range?
I think they need at least 5 yards. I'd say closer to 10 yards.
Solomon lined up tight to the right this time. They'll run Patton again. Close to another first down.
That was a great block by the left guard, John Ayers. He pulled and he led through the hole, and he just wedged through for Ricky Patton to get in behind him.
Again, they'll stop the clock and measure.
Let's look at the block. Watch the left guard there, 68 Ayers. Now watch, he pulls across. He's right in front of Patton there. Now watch him turn up and say, I'll get one for you. Boom, he gets Bobby Kemp there, and that allows Ricky Patton to get through.
Remember what I asked you at the half? When did you think Bill Walsh would start just to run and be concerned with 3 and 4 and watch the clock? Are we in that situation now?
I think so. At that time, I said within the last 10 minutes, and I think that he is in that situation now, although he may pass a little just to keep a drive alive.
Today's sellout attendance at the Silverdome is more than it's supposed to hold. 81,270. 3rd down, about an inch. Quarterback sneak, Montana, he got it. He gets inside the 30 to about the 28, first down with room to spare. Roseno made the stop.
That's the 3rd time that Joe Montana ran that same play. Watch, he'll come off to the right, just a little step with his right foot, and then boom, right up there, in there behind his right guard, Randy Cross.
That was Funhorst, who came across and knocked the pins out from under Roseno. First down, San Francisco. Ball is at about the 28-yard line. Scoreboard says 20. That's not true. Montana gives to Earl Cooper. He almost broke away. He was cut down by Riley. He had some room if Riley didn't trip him up.
He sure did. That was great ball handling by Joe Montana, wasn't it?
It's one of the things he does best that not many people say anything about.
That's right. Cooper was the first man through, but he made a great fake to Patton. Looked like he was going to the right side.
They'll go with two tight ends now. Eason Ranson lines up on the left side. Charlie Young, the regular, on the right side. They're chewing up that clock. 6:50 left to play. Ricky Patton. Now they've got it where they can think field goal. I'm sure that's on his mind.
That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get in that field goal range, make sure he had that, run time off the clock, and maybe somewhere here they'll take a shot at a touchdown. But you know who's doing a great job today is that offensive line of the 49ers. Audink and Ayers, Fred Quill in the center, Randy Cross in the Pro Bowl, Keith Fawnhorst. They're really part of this 49ers story this year.
And a drive like this, that becomes even more apparent. 3rd down and 6 at the 24. Solomon is the flanker to the left. They give to Ricky Patton. And now we will have Ray Wershing with his opportunity. Again, he will not look up. Watch him.
Nope, he won't look up at all. He knows. See, Montana will help him. See, he's saying, help me, help me, help me. There's the spot. He looks at it. He'll pat him on the back. See, Montana's lining up in the huddle where he's going to spot the ball.
How does he ever know that he's on the right floor when he takes an elevator? He never looks up.
He goes with Montana. He goes in elevators with Montana. Now watch, he gives him the tap, backs off, and just uses a hash mark.
He's 2 out of 2. He drives this one, and it's good. Boy, is that a big one. Wershing. When this day's over, he'll look up. 23-14, 49ers over Cincinnati. Ray Wershing again putting the ball on the tee. Just popped through that field goal. He's 3 for 3. 40-yard field goal that one was, and with distance to spare. He's been bouncing it so far, and he bounces it again. See if they handle this one. Nope. Finally. Mercer gets it out to the 23-yard line before he is tripped up. They've had an awful lot of trouble with Wershing's kickoff. Those line drive bouncers have handcuffed him all day. Forrest Gregg during Wershing's field goal.
This is before. Watch this. He's yelling, miss it, miss it. After that, he claps his hand and says, okay, now we have to go get 2 scores, man. The game has just changed.
1st and 10, Cincinnati at their own 22. 3 wide receiver setup. The Bengals have owned the second half except for that drive. Anderson, Collinsworth, the intended receiver, picked off by Eric Wright. Wright down the sideline. Wright still on his feet and still, and now lateral, throws it. Cincinnati has a chance to get it back. Craig Pookie is saying we got it, and the 49ers do. A 26-yard return. Willie Harper made the recovery.
It says here's Chris Collinsworth, and he's working here against Eric Wright. He gets him down. He makes an outside move. Wright gets a great break on it. He's going to step in front of him right there, catch the ball at its highest point. Now watch this return.
If you ever want a textbook or teach a technique on how to play pass defense, you just saw it by Eric Wright. Here's the end of that interception by Eric Wright.
Watch this, right at the end here, he sees Willie Harper, number 59, and he tries to lateral. Look as he's going down, there's Harper, and he throws it right beyond him.
Carlton Williamson and Harper both making dives for it. Solomon now goes in motion. The 49ers give to Patton. Patton bangs down inside the 20 to about the 17. Hit by Rosano again. Jim LeClaire who would normally be in there, hurt his knee earlier and is sitting it out. It'll be second down. They need about 6. Ball at the 17, 18-yard line. Forrest Gregg hasn't changed expressions much.
With 4 minutes left to go here, another field goal could be big by the 49ers, because right now a touchdown and a field goal could beat them, but if they score here, they'll need 2 touchdowns.
Forrest Gregg just saying knock it loose. Cooper down to the 15. Pick up a 3. Glenn Cameron on the bottom of the pile. Clock still moves.
Forrest Gregg was saying to knock it loose, and I'm sure on the other sideline, Bill Walsh is, as he sends in the plays, he's saying just hold on to the ball. Don't worry. Don't fight for that extra yard. We don't need it now.
Don Chandler has the records for the most field goals in one game. That is 4. Wershing already has 3. That was back in Super Bowl II when Chandler did it. Montana gives to Johnny Davis. And Johnny gets down to the 10. He had a first down. He was knocked backwards. Byron Hicks hit him. It is a San Francisco first down.
The 49ers picked up Johnny Davis from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's why they picked him up. They wanted him to run the short yardage plays. Now watch him. He's a fullback right behind the quarterback. A little delay step to the right, then boom, right up the middle, shoulder square, take that pile backwards, get the first down.
He broke through the tackle of Brisano and Cameron. He was finally hit by Hicks. More importantly, the first down, of course, is important as Davis trots to the sideline, but the clock is still running. 2:45 left to play. 49ers leading 23-14. Ricky Patton inside the 10 to about the 7. Lewis Breeden tripped him up.
The Bengals are going to start to use their timeouts now, Pat. They know that they're going to need 2 scores, and they'll need all the time they can get.
Ricky Patton has 16 carries. He's picked up 61 yards. You see the point at which the clock is stopped. 2.5 minutes left to play. Forrest Gregg completing his second year as the head coach of the Bengals. His team was down 20-0 at the half. 49ers have the football. The 7-yard line. The give is to Ricky Patton. No place to go. He's chased, and Patton is down back at the 13. They'll probably mark it about the 12. Razzano. Now they want another timeout.
He's trying to use his timeouts. He knows that at the 2 minutes, he'll get a free timeout there. So he's trying to use his timeouts before the 2-minute warning.
And Forrest Gregg deep in thought. 23-14 the score. Super Bowl XVI. Pat Summerall with John Madden. 3rd and 12 for San Francisco. They lead Cincinnati 23-14. It's 3rd and 13 from the 13. Cincinnati out of timeouts. Here's Montana being chased. He gets away. Montana spins, still on his feet, gets down to about the 6 and stays in bounds. Byron Hicks tripped him up. Parrish had a shot at him. Riley had a shot at him. He got away from Riley deep in the backfield. That'll be the 2-minute warning. Montana no first down, so we'll see Wershing again, I'm sure. He stayed in bounds and let that clock run down. Montana with an outstanding effort. 23-14. Wershing is on the field. His field goal this time will come from about 22 yards out. Make it 23 as he pats Montana on the back and puts him down there. Don Chandler's kick 4. Jim Turner kick 4. Wershing with this one successful is in that category. He has 4. Jim Turner kicked 4 in his career. So did Chandler. Chandler did it in one game. Green Bay and Oakland. And Wershing has now done it in one game. 26-14, San Francisco. John, you think about as we wait for this kickoff to take place, clock is stopped with 1:57 left to play. There really is no way to coach. They've had an awful lot of trouble handling the kickoffs from Worshing. It's put them in some disastrous holes and cost them some points, really. There's no way to coach that, is there?
No, there isn't. You can work against those types of kicks all the time. But I think one advantage that the 49ers and the Bengals had is they were able to practice here all week. And we were able to watch the 49ers and Bengals practice. But I noticed that Ray Worshing worked on those things just about all day, every day.
He says he just tries to concentrate when he knows his time is coming. He's kicked off a lot, and he's kicked 4 field goals. Again, he does the same thing. This one takes a good bounce. This is David Bursa. Nothing doing there to the 25, where the Bengals will have 1:51 in which to go to work. Amos Lawrence was the man who came down and made the tackle. Joe Montana has been voted by the writers and broadcasters that are covering Super Bowl 16 as this game's most valuable player. That's what he's done today. More importantly, he got him here.
That's a deserving award for a man that's not only had a great Super Bowl, but he's had a great season.
25-year-old Joe Montana. Anderson will go right to work. Anderson swings around to the other side, gets it loose. Isaac Curtis has it at about the 48, hit down by Carlton Williamson. The Bengals out of timeouts, hustle up after that 22-yard pickup. Clock still goes, 1:30. Now 1:30, less than that. Anderson out quickly and up quickly. Good protection, he fires complete. Ross. He stays in bounds, and again the Bengals hurry up as Dan Buns knocked Ross down. Clock will continue to move.
The Bengals are thinking this is their last chance. The 49ers are thinking, let's get this thing over with.
Ross again, but not out of bounds. Willie Harper makes sure that he stays in bounds. And again they hustle up. Less than a minute to play. 49ers have to get back. They can't just stroll. And Anderson is ready and there quickly. He might have thrown away right here. Hollingsworth makes the catch, but still in bounds. Eddie DiBartolo, who owns the San Francisco 49ers, and the surrounding group.
I'll tell you, Eddie's there. He's starting to celebrate, but he knows that there's 40 seconds left to go.
Defense.
And they got the clock stopped because of encroachment against San Francisco. Anderson looks over to the sidelines quickly. Cincinnati turnovers. Boy, they hurt him.
Well, of course, the 49ers did something about it. One, they made him happen. And then two, after they got him, they went in and scored.
Anderson ready to go. He throws. Pass is caught by Kreider inside the 5 at the 3. And again, the Bengals hurry up, but the clock, they just haven't got enough time.
I'm surprised that they haven't thrown out to the sidelines or into the end zone. They need 2 scores.
Can do it right now. He's going after it right now. He looks for Ross. He got him. Touchdown. That'll stop it. 16 seconds left to play. Carlton Williamson again, the defender, but Anderson popped it right to Ross. Same play they scored the last touchdown against.
16 seconds. Now, of course, they'll kick the extra point. Then we know one thing. We're going to see an exciting onside kick after this point.
Boy, did he go to work in a hurry.
I'll tell you, he did, and he went all to the inside, didn't save any time other than the penalty. The penalty hurt because that stopped the clock. The Bengals had no timeout. Watch him find Ross in the end zone and drill it right in there, a step behind Carlton Williamson.
Breach with Kreider holding. And quickly. It's 26-21. Six plays, 74 yards. We told you that Joe Montana, the 49ers' fine young quarterback who had such a great year, has been named by the writers and broadcasters the most valuable player. Here's what he told us would happen to him, at least, if the 49ers won the Super Bowl?
Backflip, I probably would. I'd be, you know, one of the 45, 50 happiest guys in the country at the time. It's just something that as growing up, I'm sure a lot of our team members and their team members have the same feeling. This is what you play for every year in the NFL. And this is the ultimate in the game of football. And to be able to win it, especially at a young age, as our whole club is, would just be outstanding for us.
That's putting it mildly.
And he's only 16 seconds away from it.
Their most valuable player. You're going to see the hands team on for San Francisco. The onside kick from Jim Breach. He's even got the laces lined up in that direction. I'm not trying to fool anybody.
There'll be a lot of scrambling when this football's kicked.
Clark and Lott, two of the fine athletes, are on the side. Clock won't stop until Breach hits it. Won't start, I should say. Clark sees it, gets it. And he tried to stay in bounds, and that ought to do it. It is San Francisco's ball, and Eddie DeBartolo. John McVay alongside him, who is his director of pro personnel, and Bill Walsh on the shoulders. All right.
That's the greatest feeling in the world. That's what it's all about. You know, for this team, for this coach, for this owner, for this town, they'll never forget this day.
San Francisco 26, Cincinnati 21. And Cincinnati and Forrest Gregg out of timeouts.
Look at those people. They know that, you know, it's money. Of course, it's money. It's a victory. It's a Super Bowl. It's a ring. But it's being the world champions, and they know they have it.
Joe Montana, teammates at Notre Dame, just had a little friendship, embrace, hug, whatever you want to call it.
Now Joe Montana is saying he took the football. He doesn't have to control his excitement anymore.
Forrest Gregg, and what a gallant second half, and first half for that matter, the Bengals played. What a comeback.
And what a gallant year for him. You know, the Super Bowl loser always takes a lot of abuse, but the job that that team did. Look at Kenny Anderson here carrying his son off the field, but they should hold their heads high. They have a lot to be proud of.
They accomplished a lot. San Francisco, what a remarkable story. 26-21, they are the world champion San Francisco 49ers. Not too many folks who get able to say, or able to say, I should say, that goes in front of my name. I'm a world champion.
And they have that the rest of their lives. No matter what happens, this can never be taken away.
Look at the previous years. 1978, they were 2-14. Then Mr. DeBartolo hired a guy named Bill Walsh. Once again, they were 2-14, but at least they could move the football. And then he turned the whole thing around. 6-10,
and then he picked up that guy, number 64, Jack Reynolds. He knows how to win and how to play.
Lawrence Pillars was number 65, who just walked. I wonder if he's going to leave the tape on during the...
Oh, he could smile. I was just going to say, Jack, it's okay. You're world champion now. You can smile. And he did.
There'll be some change of scenery in there in just a minute when they arrive through the tunnel and off the field as the 49ers, representing the National Football Conference, capture this Super Bowl. Clark and Stuckey. Excuse me, John, go ahead.
The Clemson teammates there.
There is O.J. Simpson, who, of course, played with the 49ers when he was half lame, but is a 49er at heart.
And there's Randy Cross, number 51. You know, those offensive linemen, they don't get a lot of credit, but they sure get happy when they win a game.
Eddie DiBartolo, who owns the 49ers, we thought we had a look at him coming into the locker room. Yes, we do.
Now, that's what you call a smile, isn't it? He's waiting. What a day.
Some of the 49er people who perhaps don't get nearly as much credit as they should. Those who clean the shoes and clean the cleats and put out the uniforms and the T-shirts and make sure you got in your locker what you want. Just terrific. Senior producer, Charles Hamilton Milton III, and thank you, Red Eye. Gentleman who perhaps has worked harder than anybody to get this game on, Terry O'Neill. Our director. Excellent is about all you can say, but that's not good enough for Sandy Grossman. Thank you, Joan Vitrano. She's taken a lot of heat from us over the year. Michael Burks and Bob Dunphy, the associate director. The assistants to the producer, speaking of doing a good job, Mike Arnold, Bill Brown, and Bob Natina. Marty Solomon, director of technical operations, and you should see our complex outside the Silverdome. Manager of that complex was Artie 10. And all the rest of the people, my gosh, no matter how many you say, you'd leave out somebody. It's been a great, great week. As we continue to roll the credits and say thank you to all of you, we'll go into the locker room for the presentation of the Vince Lombardi Trophy. The winner's locker room will also be in the losing locker room as we continue with our coverage of Super Bowl 16. While we have a moment, I'd like to give a special thanks to my spotter, who's been with me all year and for the past several years, Lance Barrow, and to our booth statistician, Mike Swanson. Great job, you two. The cameramen. My gosh, they know more about football than we do, John.
Boy, and they got some great shots. They didn't miss a thing. What a crew.
Maintenance. None of it works without those guys. 49ers continuing to file in and celebrating. Commissioner Pete Rozelle will be down in the 49er locker room along with Eddie DiBartolo and Bill Walsh, I'm sure, for the presentation of the trophy as the 49ers continue to file in. Once again, the final score was San Francisco 26, Cincinnati 21. CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 16 will continue with locker room reports after this word from your local station.
Welcome back to the Silverdome, and to the victors go the spoils. The Commissioner Pete Rozelle with the overjoyed owner of the San Francisco 49ers, Eddie DiBartolo, and the marvelous coach Bill Walsh. Commissioner?
Well, Eddie, of course, the 49ers were founded in 1946 by the Morabito family. They were bridesmaids that came close in two conferences, the All-American Conference, and then, as of 1950, the National Football League. But then about 5 years ago, you got control of the 49ers, and you hired this wonderful new coach, Bill Walsh. And right now, we've had the greatest reversal of form in the history of the Super Bowl. From 6-10 to Super Bowl champions, and you've earned it. Eddie?
This, Commissioner, this is a tribute to you because of what's happened under your reign in the NFL. And this trophy belongs to Bill. It belongs to our staff. It belongs to our players because they've earned it through the type of league and the type of unity that we've all had. And I thank you, and I thank Bill, and I thank everybody that's connected with the 49ers and CBS.
Eddie, thank you so much. And Commissioner, thank you. And Coach Walsh, we have a phone call over here for you. Let me hand you this. This might be that traditional greeting, Bill.
Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Go ahead, gentlemen.
I can't hear.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Coach Walsh?
Yes.
This is Ronald Reagan.
Well, I thought it might be.
I just wanted to tell you, a couple of homies in California have been sitting here watching. You certainly thrilled us, and I want to congratulate you and congratulate the entire team. And you might tell Joe Montana and the fellas, I think maybe they really did win one for the Gipper.
Well, I think Joe was thinking of the Gipper when he won that one, I'll tell you. And thank you very much. I enjoyed shaking your hand the other night, and I was hoping I'd be receiving a call from you in about 2 weeks, and thank you very, very much. I'll tell Joe all about the Gipper. Thank you very, very much.
All right, Bill. Listen, get some of the stars up here. I want Hacksaw up here, and Danny Buns up here, too. We always talk to Coach Walsh about the offense, but I got to tell you, the defense won this game with that brilliant goal line stand. Hacksaw?
Well, I don't know. I just knew we had to stop him, and Pete Johnson, as big as he was, we just, Danny and I, we just hustled our ass off and tried to get in there and try to stop him.
There you are, Hacksaw, coming right in there and jamming him up. At the time, of course, it was 27. Were you looking for Johnson all the way?
Yeah, I thought Pete would carry the ball. All those short situations, Pete always does carry the ball, and he's really hard to stop, so we knew he was going to get the ball.
All right, Charlie Young's hogging a little camera time here. Danny,
somebody got to do it.
Charlie, this is the defense's moment. You just stand there. Danny, now, what about that play on the outside when you went over and read it perfectly and cut him off?
Well, that was my job. I was covering number 40, Charles Alexander, and at first I thought he was going to try to come up in the end zone, and I was just lucky enough to hustle out there and get the tackle and not let him in, drive him back. And that was a great moment right there. I enjoyed it very much. The next play where they tried to drive it inside, I really enjoyed that more.
Bill, over on the sideline, I thought you got a little conservative for Bill Walsh in the second half.
Well, they were throwing every conceivable blitz at us, and we just didn't want to get stopped with those blitzes. We went to our running game and our trapping game, and that made the difference.
All right. Now, that, of course, is the final play. Now, watch Reese turn around there with that monitor so we can see it. And look at this celebration, Bill. Take over.
Well, he looks... Oh, there he goes. That's our captain. That's our captain. He's given us that all year.
I think that was the moment of the game, Hacksaw, when he turned over like that.
Well, Archie's like that. He's very excitable, and I don't get too excited, but I guess I'll get excited a little bit more in about an hour or so.
Freddie Solomon now has joined us up on the stand, and Freddie, you said yesterday, I'm going to Super Bowl. You got to play even though you were injured.
Well, definitely. This was for the World's Championship, and there was no way I was going to miss it, and I wanted to give 110%, and I did, and we came out of it the world's champions.
Charlie Young, you were once with the Rams, before that with the Eagles. What about this moment now with the 49ers?
First of all, like I say, I give honor to God for giving us this victory. And now we are the world's champions. We are the world's champions. I don't look in the back anymore. I had great times with those teams, but now I'm with the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm just happy.
All right. We are going to be back now with some of the offensive stars of this game as our Super Bowl coverage on CBS continues in just a moment. All right. And the celebration continues in the San Francisco 49ers. Ray Wershing, 4 field goals. You tied Don Chandler of the Packers. Congratulations. You may have saved it.
Thank you very much. Without these guys, I couldn't have done it.
All right, well, here are these guys, Earl Cooper and Joe Montana. And listen, I want you two big horses to come in here now and tell me about that pass. You were so open, anybody could have scored on that play.
Well, that was just a fake up the middle to the fullback. It was a called play, and it's just for the wide receivers on the left to clear out so I can come underneath the zone coverage. And
now hold it here, Dwight Clark. Listen, I've got you on this end around right over here on my other side. What happened on this sequence?
Well, we lost our guard because they kind of read the play, and so I had to try to put a move on the guy, and I just don't have that many moves.
You did well enough, though, I'll tell you that. Let me go back now to the game plan of the 49ers. Bill Walsh said that you in particular, Earl, could run on this surface, and it looked it in the first half. Was that a good difference, big one in this game?
I think it was a difference in this game, but I like to feel like I can run on any surface, but if the Coach Walsh thinks I can run on this surface, then I think so, then, that's a plus for the team and a plus for us.
Joe, what about Earl Cooper in the first half and the overall 49er attack?
Well, I think we were doing everything that we wanted to do. Things were going our way. We jumped up to a good lead, which let them have to play the type of ball we wanted to. And fortunately, we got ahead far enough and that...
Spike it!
I love it, man. It's great.
You'll be watching that play a lot. Well, now, in the second half, of course, the Bengals came back, and they came back courageously, and they've got to be down over there in that locker room. Let's go across the way for a little bit of Irv Cross. Irv?
Brent, the Bengal locker room is kind of sober. Here we are at last. Coach, again, the 4th down play with Pete Johnson on the goal line. Let's hear your version of it.
Well, nobody stopped us on that play all year until this happened, and they did a good job on it. You give the ball to your strongest runner down there, and Pete's done a great job for us inside that 5-yard line, and nobody's really stopped him. But they kind of jammed things up on us there a little bit, and they went underneath us. Pete tried to go underneath at the same time, and there was just no place to go. We didn't get any movement on the defensive linemen or the linebackers. The other play that was just previous to that, or the second play back, where we got stopped in a hole, we missed a block on that. We had a call to make on the line of scrimmage to our flanker, and the noise was so bad down there, he just couldn't hear it. And, you know, it was no fault of his, it just happened. And that stopped us. So, you know, it happened. And what are you going to say?
You know, Coach, Bill Walsh said the loser in this game oftentimes is looked at as a loser, but we know we're champions in our hearts. How do you keep your Bengals, keep their heads up and remain champions?
Let me tell you something right now, Irv. You know, we're here in the Super Bowl, and we lost it. But these guys have a lot to be proud of. Nobody expected them to be here. Nobody picked them to even finish past third in their division. And they've worked hard, and they're a very dedicated bunch of guys, and they're good football players. And they'll feel bad for a while, but they're not going to feel bad for very long because they don't have to. They don't have to put their head down. They don't have to hang their head at all. I congratulate San Francisco on winning. They're a great football team. And,
Coach,
yeah,
thanks very much.
You bet.
Congratulations. Brent.
Irv, thank you so much, and I would certainly agree with the coach. The Cincinnati Bengals do not have to hang their head after coming back in the second half, even though they lost Super Bowl XVI. And our coverage of Super Bowl XVI is going to continue from the San Francisco 49ers locker room in just a moment. Line of the 49ers, Keith Van Horst. And Keith, 2-14, 2-14, 6-10, win a Super Bowl. The lean years, though, hurt, didn't they?
They hurt. I wasn't sure I'd be around to grasp something like this. It's just unbelievable. I'll tell you, it's the most fantastic feeling. I'll die a happy man if I die right here. It's unbelievable.
You, of course, had to block on Big Eddie Edwards all day, and you opened up that huge hole there, and Cooper just kept on coming.
I'll tell you, it's great having backs like Coop and Ricky and Ringer and all those guys back there. It doesn't take much to spring them. I'll tell you, we had a great game plan, and we just went after them. You know, it's a shame to have somebody lose this game, though, because they have a fantastic team, and the way they came back was great. I'm just glad we came out on top.
All right, Keith, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's go outside now to Phyllis George, who has Joe Montana's wife with him. Phyllis?
That's right, Brent. This pretty lady standing with me is Cass Montana, and I should say a new bride. She's only been married since July, and little did she know at that time her husband would be the winning quarterback of Super Bowl XVI. How does it feel, Cass?
Phyllis, I feel like I just won the $1 million lottery.
Seriously, you're so cool and collected, and I noticed by watching your husband, he's the same way. Is that his nature generally?
Yes, it is. He's been a very good teacher for me because I'm a pretty excitable person, but our momentum has been so good in the playoff games, and I just knew we were going to win. So
we all know that you didn't get to stay with your husband last night because of rules, but what was his word to you this morning before he left? Did he feel pretty confident?
Yes, we have a little tradition we always go through, and I say to him, "Are we going to win?" And he says, "Yes, we are."
Yes, we are.
And he doesn't hesitate. Yes, we are going to win.
When they did it today in a spectacular way, you're off to the Pro Bowl in Hawaii. Have a great time, Cass Montana. And back to you, Brent.
All right, Phyllis, thank you so much. This celebration goes on in the winning locker room, and we'll continue with our coverage of Super Bowl XVI in just a moment. All right, we are back in the winner's locker room. They're all talking defense. Ronnie Lott, Brent Keith, and Archie Reese. Let's go back upstairs now to Pat Summerall and John Madden for a final thought.
Okay, Brent, thank you very much. Again, if they didn't build scoreboards, or that's the reason they build scoreboards, to see who wins. So congratulations to the 49ers. Not necessarily John Madden condolences to Cincinnati.
No, today before the game started, the two best teams in the National Football League were the Cincinnati Bengals and the 49ers. They still are the two best teams in the National Football League, but right now the 49ers are #1 and the champions.
may I say to you, while we have this one last chance, to say it's been great. It's been a great year, an educational year for me. I can't tell you what a joy it's been working with you.
Well, I sure enjoyed it, and I thank you for everything, for having to put up with all my goofy things.
Well, all I can say to you is I hope the rest of the year continues to be good to you, and may no train pass you by. Let's go back to Brent Musburger.
All right, Pat and Sean, thank you so much. In my opinion, that was the best announcing job ever done on a Super Bowl. But the guys who deserve the credit are the members of the San Francisco 49ers. They did it with a coach who was passed up in Cincinnati. So he took his show on the road. He wound up down in San Diego as an assistant. Then he became the head coach at Stanford. Finally, he went to the 49ers. And just a few short years later, he won a Super Bowl. I'm Brent Musburger, and we want to congratulate all the winners and even the losers in this Super Bowl XVI.